All right, y'all. Welcome back to the Ern's World Podcast. It's your boy DJ Ern1.
It's your boy Diff Hue.
And today we got a special guest in the building. We got the homie JR.
What's good? What's good?
Yeah, actually, what do you want? What do you want the people to what do you want us to introduce you as to the people?
Hey man, I'm just a regular guy. I mean, you know, y'all better
the homie JR.
This than me. I don't know, man.
It's the homie JR.
You know.
Also a fellow North Carolinian out here in the PDX.
You know how we do. Stay connected. You know what I'm saying? All my Charlotte people out there.
Yeah.
In Charlotte and in Oregon. You know what I'm saying?
Thanks.
It's a wonderful thing, man. But yo, it's really good to have you. You know what I'm saying? First off, before we really get started, it's good to have you, but it's also good to have somebody that, you know, is from around the way, because that's always a really cool vibe. And to have somebody else out here and see like the network of Charlotte people growing, it's pretty cool, man. So thank you for showing up and pulling up. And how you feel? You know, this is apparently your first pod, right? First time, like, you know, on this type of time. And so, what's it like? Yeah, how you feel?
I feel good. You know, like y'all said, man, y'all just the homies. I've been knowing y'all for a minute, so I feel like, you know, just a conversation.
Facts, slick, damn, man, it's crazy, man. Because like now I think about it, we met initially. I want to say maybe. Had to be like maybe 2 to 3 months into me moving into Portland.
Facts.
Maybe. Was it coincidental that like
kind of sort of we just happened to both be in a focus group?
That's it.
Like one of the homies, Brenton, pulled us both into a focus group.
Shout out to the homie Brenton.
And that's how we met. We were just in there talking kicks and like sportswear apparel and stuff like that.
Before y'all even found out about the Charlotte connection.
Bingo.
I mean, that's kind of how we found out about the Charlotte connection. I walked in a little bit late because I was coming from a meeting, and I came in. Told people where I was from, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I'm from Charlotte too." And I was like, "Word?" And then I was like, "Wait." He told me which high school he went to, and I was like, "Hold up." I was like, "You know X, Y, and Z?" Yeah. He was like, "Yep." And I was like, "Oh shit." And then from there, it was just super organic.
Now, I will say, I feel like I'm starting to realize this tends to be an ongoing question on the pod. It either starts out with, why are you leaving, or what brought you here? So we're going to ask, what brought you here, and how do you feel about Portland, you know, coming from where you were from?
Yeah, man. I feel like my opinion doesn't differ too much from y'all's, you know, just being Charlotteans. But like everybody, yeah, I know, right? Like everybody, work brought me out here. Well, honestly, before that, school. So my partner Shannon, she found the University of Oregon like sports product management program, and she hit me up and was like, "Hey, I think this would be dope. We both kind of have these interests. What you feel like? Think we should do it?" I was like, "Yeah, absolutely." So we both did it. We actually moved out like it was a little fiasco to get out here. So we moved out well before our class start date because we were trying to get in-state tuition. She ended up finessing it. I did not. But we moved out in 2017 and really ain't looked back since. Finished up school, and then after that, it was just, okay, how can I turn, you know, a sports product management degree into a job? So if you know anything about Portland, you know all the sports product companies are here, so I just kind of stayed. But yeah.
No, that's facts. Big facts.
How you like it?
We got three major sportswear companies out here in Portland.
It's cool. It's cool.
Respectfully.
Like, my hot take on Portland is I actually like the pace of Portland. Portland reminds me of Charlotte in a lot of ways.
I've said that in a few sentences too.
I think it's about the same. Like,
it's about the same speed.
I feel like this, like the pace.
I feel like Portland's honestly a little slower than Charlotte.
It could, yes. Like, we don't wait
think
for
the only reason why
everybody
I say
to cross the street in Charlotte.
Nah.
People were like, the pace of the city is slow here, which I appreciate. Like, it doesn't feel too much. I've lived in Chicago. I've lived in some of these bigger cities. So comparing that pace to, like, you know, the pace out here is just different. But I appreciate it. I think that if you could take the people from Charlotte and like drop them in Portland, then I don't see a reason to leave. But because the rain doesn't bother me, the weather or whatever, all the other things.
You don't get depressed.
Nah.
I mean, I tell people all the time with the rain, I'm just like, honestly, you going. There's no real way around the rain out here. So it's like you might as well just get a raincoat.
Lately, it's been throwing down.
Some waterproof gear.
Lately, it's been throwing down. It's normally just intimidation tactics, but lately, it's been really fucking throwing down. Like for real. Like I had to learn that when I first got out here. I was like, you know, because where we from, when it's raining, it's like you really got to cover up because it's raining. You know what I'm saying? Over here when it's raining, it's like you could really walk with a hoodie when it's
People
raining.
Don't get that,
like,
bro.
But that's why I say it's intimidation tactics. It feels like it's gonna be raining hard, but it's like nah, it's really not really raining. It's like light rain.
Like them afternoon thunderstorms in the south, like that southern rain.
We get floods.
It's a torrential downpour.
We get heavy rain, floods. Yeah, like the raindrops hurt when it hit you.
It rains for real on the East Coast, like
Facts.
all up and down the East Coast. Anywhere it snows, it rains during the months where it's not like OD freezing.
Yeah.
And then like anywhere down south where we just have a bunch of humidity, it rains a lot.
And you can expect a downpour out of nowhere.
Yeah.
True.
And it'll rain hard as hell for like 30 minutes.
Sometimes even 15.
Yeah, stop.
Like
and then
real
start
quick.
Again, stop.
And then be humid as hell for no reason afterwards.
Matter of fact, let me ask y'all a question.
What's good?
So do y'all prefer, you know, that downpour for 30 minutes, or do you want that little persistent little baby rain?
Give me 30 minutes and done. I don't like that ongoing rain shit. I don't like being wet and rainy. But then this is the thing though. You really can't win because where we from, either way it goes, you're gonna get the humidity. So
I'll take the.
It's kind of. I might say I would want the ongoing rain just because I don't like humidity.
The humidity is something.
But I do miss those summer nights after it rains and it's kind of you sitting on the porch and it's just that you hear the frogs and shit. I do. There's like this little shit like that I miss. It's like I don't miss the humidity, but I miss just that like
the aftermath of the rain,
just that atmosphere and just that vibe of like summer humidity,
the feeling of like
at night,
the area being refreshed basically.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I keep bringing it up like I don't want to use the word humidity because I hate humidity, but it's just it's more kind of like now that I'm not there, I kind of just reminisce. It's like because the times where it really was enjoyable. We were kids, we outside enjoying it. We not really thinking too much on like, you know, what it really felt like. But as an adult, when you really think about it, it's like, nah. But at the same time, it's like, I can see why, you know, there's certain parts of the South that, you know, you just ain't gonna get compared to a place like here. You know what I'm saying? We not even near no woods. You don't hear no cicadas. You don't hear no, you know, frogs like that. It's just.
I mean, we definitely near the woods.
I mean, okay, you're right. My bad. We are a forest.
We in the woods, but it's a different.
It's different. It's a different type of woods. You're right. You're right.
Like the wildlife is different.
Yeah,
wildlife is different.
They don't have as many bugs out here as we do down south.
Facts though, because the flies ain't really on no killer shit. Back home, them flies, bro. When I went back home recently, them flies was savages, dog.
But now that you say it, Tevin, I feel like humidity has something to do with how many bugs we experience. Because it was funny because I was watching your story when you went back a while ago. You had this funny clip talking about, bro, I ain't remember the humidity being like.
Oh, you're talking when I was freeballing.
And bro, like that experience to me was like it hit home because
that was funny as hell.
I didn't remember, like you don't realize how humid it was until you leave that humidity, then come back to that humidity. Because that humidity is a different beast.
Man, I said, bro, I'm wearing trunks all week. Like, I'm literally wearing trunks. Like, I'm not, why? Why am I wearing shorts with underwear and pants? Like, fuck that shit, man. I need to be near some water. You know what I'm saying? And that's another thing, too. It's like, North Carolina is cool, but we weren't near no beach. So it's like, unless you had a friend that had water, like a pool, you got to deal with that.
You wasn't escaping it.
You wasn't escaping it, exactly. Like, you in that shit.
To your point, though, bro, like, the infrastructure of the city is different. Like, for example, you can build apartment buildings. That's one thing that blew me when I moved out here. Like, you can build an apartment building and not have to put AC in it. In the South, that's
that's just crazy. No, that's not a good idea. I think that's some Portland shit.
That's
some Portland shit.
That's definitely some Portland shit.
That don't mean
that down south.
That's what I'm saying. Like, the infrastructure of the city is different.
But they need to add some motherfucking AC.
Oh no,
I
110%.
Be wilding.
100%.
And that is some Portland shit because I noticed that when I moved out here. It's definitely some Portland shit. So another thing, I wanted to kind of talk about some of the things you like to do creatively because, you know, a lot of people don't know, but you're a graphic designer. You know what I'm saying? And I'm an artist myself. We chat a lot off camera on like creative shit. So I kind of want to dive into your brain a little bit as far as like art is concerned.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And I don't really know where we want to start with that, but I kind of just want to like pick your brain a little bit. You know what I'm saying? On some art shit, and kind of like understand where you come from and your origins creatively, and like what got you to where you are creatively. Cause you said cause how long you been working on graphics? Is this new or is this like?
Nah, bro. Matter of fact, I had an internship with Adobe.
For real?
And yeah.
I don't know why you never told me this.
Okay, so like my history with graphics is very loaded, and I need to get better about like sharing my stuff.
I feel like we all do, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Because I feel like
it's a thing.
The majority of the people in our circle, we could for real talk our shit if we wanted to. But most of us are just mad.
It's weird.
And modest about it.
See, I make music, so for me, it's a very more self-conscious thing because it's like I don't want to keep posting the same fucking music and shit, even though it's like the reality of it is that's not really how it really goes. Because even if you are posting the same shit, or sharing the same shit, there's always gonna be somebody new that you run into that doesn't know you. You know what I'm saying? There's always a circle of people that you're around where, yeah, you may bring that shit up, but it's somebody that don't know you that might have interest in what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? So I'm now a little more like open, I guess, about accepting that shit.
Nah, facts. That self-consciousness never, I'm not gonna say it never escapes you, but it's something that like I feel like all creators really deal with. Just because there's so much vulnerability in putting something that you care about out there for consumption. And we'll talk about
but we should talk our shit though. I mean, because at the end of the day, it's like I really brought that up just to say that like you right. We do a lot of shit, but we tend to not really like flex our shit. What's funny though, I always like to flex my homie shit over my shit. Like literally just earlier today, I was talking to somebody. I was like, "Yo, if you need any photos or anything like that, hit me ASAP. My guy gonna get you right." You know what I'm saying? It's like.
Yeah, facts. I mean, I did mention on the last episode we got this studio.
Production game is coming up, man.
Yeah, man. To answer your question though, long history with that stuff. So like we was talking about a little bit before we even started recording today. I came from architecture, so I remember it was middle school. It was like 5th grade. I was drawing something in class. And a teacher came up to me and was like, you know, I think you have an affinity towards art. You're pretty strong in math. Have you ever thought about architecture? I had never really heard about architecture as a career at that point. And it just always stuck with me in the back of my mind. And then come to, fast forward to high school, it's time to make a decision about what you want to do with your life and, choose a major. I chose architecture. And that's kind of just what, started me getting comfortable with the programs around like graphics and graphic creation. So I learned all that stuff to be able to be stronger as an architecture student, and then ended up dropping architecture as like a discipline and then just sticking with the tools around architecture, and kind of snowballed from there. But yeah, to your point, so this was like back when Creative Cloud first dropped. So when I first started using like Adobe, like Illustrator, Photoshop, all the programs that a graphic designer knows, it was like Illustrator 7 and Photoshop 8.
Okay, so this is like 2014, 15,
right?
Yeah,
2013, 2014.
Yeah.
So Clemson.
That's crazy. That's around the time that I got introduced to like just the Adobe software for real.
Same.
And I got introduced to it through an internship actually. So
yeah. So like I never forget, we had a laundry list of materials to buy for architecture school. You had to buy like the physical discs of like Photoshop and Illustrator. And them joints was like $300 a pop.
I remember having a physical disc, but I only got it because my grandmother bought a laptop and it came with it.
And it was crazy because this was like in that weird era of media where Apple was starting to take the disk drive off of laptops.
Yep.
But you still had to like
Portable,
download
the portable disk drive,
Right.
where they
So I
give you
had-
the download code for the Apple computers.
Bro, so I had to
Yeah.
buy an optical drive just to download Photoshop on my first like computer when I was really starting to use the stuff. Long story short, the following year is the first year they launched like Creative Cloud, where all this stuff is cloud based. You could download. You know what I'm saying? That's like my sophomore year. Clemson was one of the first like universities to have a direct partnership with Adobe. So they came in, they being Adobe, and built out like the middle part of our
like
library.
Adobe Labs and stuff.
We had like a green screen room, an audio production room, a video production
Damn,
room.
y'all could
That's
just-
how I can talk about this stuff with you, because like I came from that space when I was
Okay.
working in that for a little bit. So yeah, I worked at the Genius Bar, or whatever you want to call it, as an intern, a digital partnership intern for Adobe, in like 2014, 2015. One of my biggest regrets, honestly, from that internship is you could have sat down for the certifications and got like certified in Photoshop or certified in Illustrator, and I should have. I never did, but it's what got me comfortable in the programs, and I just never really quit using them. So all through architecture school until I graduated in 2017, I was using them. Fast forward to grad school, I started using them. I had internships that was also calling for just skills and experience in those, you know. But yeah, probably it's been you know, a little over 10 years at this point that I've been in that world.
Where do you see yourself going creatively in the next like 5 to 10 years? What's the goals and game plan? I know it's loaded, but you know, in a nutshell.
Ultimately, I don't want to say I want to be like a tastemaker, but I do want to have.
I feel like you kind of already.
That's what it's all about, low key. I mean, depending on what type of motherfucker you are, it's just like some things you just gotta own it. And I feel like what type of people we are, man, you can't put us in one box. It's like it's inevitable. Like it's even if you wanted to do one thing, I don't think you really could.
That's my bro. You hit it right on the head. That's my biggest thing. I don't really want to be put in a box. I want to own. I said, you know. I want to own like a creative agency with Shannon, where we can just do our own thing.
I hear that.
You're already on kind of.
That's exactly right. Like
we're early. We're in the foundation. Yeah, we're in that trajectory.
making strides in that direction.
Bingo. We're getting there. But ultimately, I would like to wake up every day with no agenda, create
facts.
Perfect
scenario.
If the people like it,
they like
buy
it.
it.
Well, we're all manifesting our destiny right now.
You know,
literally. And hearing you say that, kind of like reiterates where we all are right now, because it's like that's why I was saying before we even got on camera, I was like, I feel good about this pod, because you know, like, and like even like when you say, you know, I'm around people that like I vibe with, you know what I'm saying? So it's like being around a certain network of people that understand the type of shit and type of timing that we on.
Yeah,
it's easier to just you know, move and work together, flow together. You know what I'm saying? So that's really cool.
I feel like y'all about to get annoyed with me because I'm about to be asking y'all questions back as y'all ask me questions. But to your point though, about being understood as a creative, do you feel like do you feel like it's more palatable in Portland to explain what you do and yourself to people rather than when you're back home?
The only reason I would say yes is because the creative industry already exists out here. So by default, you're talking to people that already kind of understand and understand the realms and the spheres that you exist in professionally and personally.
Even on a tiny ass scale, like even on the smallest minuscule of scales, he's absolutely right. Because I was kind of like, but then the reality of it is, I mean, if you think about it, I mean, shit, I didn't sell none of the stuff I've been making art since I was a kid, and I never sold anything until I moved out here. I never made money off it. Well, I take that back. Let me slow down a little bit. I did sell clothes. I'm not gonna count the clothes, but I mean, like, as far as like other things, like my own prints, selling stickers. Like, first off, Portland is literally a sticker city. I've said this before. It's literally a sticker city. Like, people like love stickers. Like, people legit ask for stickers. People have like sticker trades, sticker meets. That shit ain't in Charlotte. You can make a little hustle off stickers out here. So I say that to say that's why I brought up like in the most smallest minuscule ways, you can kind of define your path as a creative here if you like have some type of niche.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I definitely and then also to kind of piggyback off to what you were saying earlier about it being kind of slow paced. The reason why I kind of felt like it was more fast paced in Charlotte is because of just the fact that I can make some moves that I normally couldn't make. That made it feel faster. That made it feel faster.
Creatively, yes, I say the city moves at a faster pace.
Yeah, definitely. Exactly.
Sure.
No, exactly.
In general,
no.
Nah.
Yeah. So that's why I agree with what y'all was saying when you say that. But yes, on a creative level, you definitely can move faster for sure. Like I've rubbed shoulders with so many people that's actually in the industry compared to in Charlotte. But the weird thing is there's a lot of people in the industry in Charlotte, but that network and community I feel like is so much smaller. Mm-hmm. And again, like we were just talking about motion, yes, like again, there's always gonna be people moving in the city, but that community is smaller. At least out here, there's multiple pockets. I feel like it's just a little easier. You can, like I say this all the time, damn near every other pod, you can go to a bar out here and rub shoulders with somebody who's really like somebody.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy? I feel like we were having a conversation with, I don't know, we were talking about this, but he was like, yo, this is one of the only cities where you could see like a CEO hanging out with a stripper, hanging out with.
I mean, yeah, like
somebody that works in like retail, hanging out with somebody that's a bartender, all in the same
or
group.
at a coffee shop,
right?
You know what I mean? And that's the beautiful thing about a place like this. Like, if you're a person who has ambitions and have some type of a game plan, you should be able to make things work anywhere you go. But I'll say that Portland is a place that allows you to kind of control your own pace, if that makes sense. And I feel like that's what makes it special, because you go to any other place, you're always going to have to deal with so many other hurdles. And while there's a lot of places becoming more expensive across the board, that's like a whole conversation of its own. But in the grand scheme of things, Portland to me is like, I told myself, like, I can't even really see myself leaving and being in another place right now in the current moment, unless it was somewhere like maybe Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? But like, I just feel like Portland makes sense because it's so kind of like low key that you can like bubble. You know what I'm saying? You could bubble and then you can expand outside of Portland here. So I feel like that's why it's special, because it's like you can really be low key, but then still build your foundation here. Because damn near everything we doing is social media based anyway, and you're really trying to expand globally. So you really only can be stationed in one place. Why not be stationed in a place where you can control the majority of your situation? Because when I say that, you know, with a grain of salt, because you know you want to be able to control every situation. But like I said, when I was in Charlotte, I can safely say that I can only control what is available to me, and there wasn't a lot of access to certain things that I felt like allowed me to grow like I wanted to. And there are people that can help you grow, but because that community is so small, it's not as easy versus being somewhere like here. And then I also lived in LA, where the ratio is different. There's a bunch of people that can help you get somewhere, but of course you got to deal with so many other hurdles too. So it's just like there's like a balance thing, you know what I'm saying? So again, bringing it back to Portland and just looking at the grand scheme of things, this place is very low key in the sense of just being able to move. You know what I'm saying? You can kind of just do your shit.
To add on to what you're saying.
I don't want to sound drawn out, but
no, I feel you. To add on to what you're saying, I would say that another thing that makes Portland unique is there's like a pocket of Portland for everybody. Portland has a palette for like everything. There's nothing here that's out of place. You can find your people or your interest or your niche somewhere. There are so many. Shannon and I talk about this all the time. There are so many like businesses that we'll walk by, and it's extremely niche and works for Portland. And I'm like, there's no way this business could survive in anywhere other city, except for. But they've been in business for 5 years here with brick and mortar,
15
years. You know what I'm saying? Thriving. But that's because Portland has they cast a wide net, and you get any and everybody here.
But I feel like that also has a lot to do with the brands and the agencies that exist here. And I've been saying that for a while. Like Portland kind of has a cheat code on that. I just don't feel like they figured out how to get a lot of these people to want to stay long term.
So that's and so everything you're saying is why it brings me back to what I was trying to say. I couldn't really get it out the best way, but I feel like just based off what you guys are saying, it kind of reiterates what I'm trying to get out. And what I'm trying to get out is like when it comes to like Portland, because Portland has a wide net, like what you're saying. That's the reason why I like this place, because it's opportunity that is almost like the unknown. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like unknown opportunity, meaning you can do something new, you can bring something new that the world hasn't seen yet, and you can do it in a place where you can kind of build from the ground up.
Portland's a great
and that exactly, and that's kind of where me and Ern always been saying, like, this place has the potential to bring a lot of great vibes, and I feel like it just takes those type of people that have that umph to do it, and I feel like we might be the ones to do it. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I choose to stay in a place like this, where it's like you have all these other cities that are already oversaturated, and I think that's really what I'm trying to say. A lot of oversaturation in a lot of places. At least with this place, you can move strategically and not have to deal with so much saturation.
It, like I said, bro, to your point, great test city. You can try things out here and then see if there's a
market for it elsewhere,
right? And then try like Salt and Straw.
Because then I thought they start here or they start in the Bay.
They started in the Bay or they started here?
I don't know. I know they're in the Bay though.
I know they're in
they
LA
made their
too.
way to the Bay
and
to Cali
here.
somewhere. Like I don't know if they how far down in Cali they've gone, but they definitely made their way to Cali.
I didn't know they. Okay, I didn't.
Right. And if the story I'm telling myself is true, they started here. You know, I view them as the ice cream makers that are willing to test things and try different. Like they have an olive oil ice cream. They have like weird, like
I'm
stuff that you wouldn't.
good on most of their shit.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. A lot of that shit, it be.
They had a deviled egg ice cream one time.
What I'm saying.
And I'm like, yo, why? Who asked for that?
The point is, you can
like,
test that in some place like Portland, and then next thing you know, you got locations in LA,
Facts
in the Bay.
That is so true though.
But the one thing that pissed me off about Salt and Straw, and me and my ex-girlfriend used to argue about this all the time. I'm like, yo, like, why did they not have cookies and cream ice cream?
They don't have the basic stuff. You go in there looking for the basic stuff,
it's
and they ain't got it.
You know Portland not gonna give you Portland is Portland.
No. What I'm saying is, look, scratch everybody's itch. Have the basics and then have the extra stuff too. Like
that's not Portland though.
But I feel what Ern's saying though, because every ice cream shop I walk into should have cookies and cream. They should have vanilla. They should have.
And they have vanilla. They have chocolate. It's just like, why do y'all not have cookies and cream? Why don't you have strawberry? Like,
since I've moved out here, I've learned to embrace
right.
the weird shit that just always makes you mad. Like, it's like y'all could have easily, like what you're saying, could have easily gave us those options, but instead you do some whole other shit. That's just Portland.
I mean, I rock with the, what is it, the Snickerdoodle one? Cinnamon Snickerdoodle? That's my
Have you ever had the olive oil one? I'm scared of that one.
I haven't. I think I sampled it and I was like, yeah, I'm good on it.
Did it taste like olive oil?
What's it going to taste like besides ice cream and, like, olive oil don't really taste like anything.
Olive oil does have a taste, and it's
it
not
does,
like
but it's not. I don't feel like it has enough to mess up ice cream.
It's an afternote. It's not like, oh, I'm eating cold oil, but it's like I could tell there's something in there.
Yeah, but it's not enough to. Like, I don't think it's enough. I don't think it'd be enough to mess up the flavor of the ice cream, make you turn away from eating the rest of it. Like, it's just olive oil ice cream.
That's fucking funny, man. So yeah, shouts out to Portland, man. I didn't want to go on a crazy tangent on Portland, but you know, this is a good place for people who are creative. If you ever thinking about coming to somewhere new and just trying something different, I think, you know, if you got a game plan, you can make it work.
If you can get past the rain.
Yeah, that part too.
If you can get past the rain and find a group of people to kick it with on the regular, you'll be all right.
Let's go ahead and move on to the next thing, kind of still related to graphics. I kind of was thinking about this whenever we decided to bring you on to the pod. Yeah. I wanted to talk about logos because being that you're in the graphics, I feel like this is also kind of an interesting topic too because, I mean, shit, bro, there's logos all around us right now, you know, and I feel like that's one of those things that people kind of like take for granted and don't pay attention to. But when you're someone like us, we are the people who literally design these things. I'm very much into design, product development and packaging and things of that nature. So like I actually pay attention to those things. I like small details. So with that being said, you being a person who's into graphic designs and into those type of things, what are some logos that kind of inspired you creatively and that kind of like did you kind of feel like made an impact on the culture as well? Because I feel like logos is something that kind of gets overlooked, and I feel like honestly, if you would ask even an average person who don't even really care for anything about brands, there might be a favorite logo of theirs. Like, how many people have you ever asked somebody like, "Yo, is there a favorite you what?" Because you know that game that used to exist, the logo game, where you have to like guess the logo.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised how many logos we subconsciously know, and we don't even spend money with these brands necessarily, but we know those fucking the names of those logos.
What was that game you talking about online? It was
what was the app too? There was an app like that too.
You had to guess. They put the even if it had like words in it, they take the words out.
Right. It was
Or vice
orange.
versa.
Like the website was branded orange and white.
I think I know what you're talking about.
And you could like guess the 50 states in under 10 minutes or whatever. But they also had a ton of like logo
Other ones
games.
and stuff, yeah.
What is that website? But yeah, that you just unlocked a memory, bro. That was because I was probably on that website like late high school. That was one of them things where you was in the back of the class, you weren't even paying attention.
Kill time shit. Type shit.
Exactly.
Kill time type shit.
For sure.
Test your own knowledge, and that subconsciously might have influenced a lot of my like. But anyway, to answer your point, that's a tough.
I mean, it was a great place for references. To even just know what it.
And that exercise in itself.
Yeah, exactly. No, I feel you. That's kind of why I want to kind of like. This is such a weird topic to talk about, but that's why I want to talk about it because it's like I said, like the average person, we spend money and consume all these brands, and it's like we have logos. It's like this shit lives rent free in our head, and we don't even be realizing
logos
it. You know what I'm
sell
saying?
Products like people make decisions on with their money based on a logo.
The way a logo looks. Yeah.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? That's just such an open-ended question, though. I mean,
Right.
there's a ton of favorites. I'm in the sportswear industry, so a lot of the ones that come to mind are in that apparel sportswear space. Nike is just too iconic to not mention. I'm gonna leave it there though because I could go down a whole rabbit hole on how that's like the perfect logo for footwear. Apple, Playboy.
Playboy's logo is dope.
I think about things that are iconic and okay.
It's funny, the Playboy logo was on every single one of the Playboy bunnies. Like it's like a tan mark, low key.
Is it Easter egg? Like on every Playboy, there's a little.
On every single Playboy
I
bunny.
didn't know that. That's tough. Okay.
I never noticed that.
Yeah. I mean, you're not gonna notice it, but it's like it's one of those if you know type situations.
Yeah.
Like they'll be like on their little panty line.
Yeah.
They'll be like sometimes like on their shoulder.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like in
Okay.
different places.
On
the ankle maybe.
If we back up though, when you think about like branding, there's logos, there's word marks, there's little lockups, there's icons. There's a lot of different ways to talk about the visual identity behind a brand. I think my favorite logos, for lack of a better term, when we're talking about it in this discussion, are icons where you don't need words. They're so iconic that they stand by themselves, and you also can get a sense of the brand and what their values might be from just their logo. That's very hard to. That's easier said.
That's why I also wanted to share some images too. There were some can I send you some images real quick, Ern, to pull up real quick?
Yeah.
Of some logos for me that I always felt like was iconic. And I'm gonna start with recent actually because there's a record label I fuck with called Ghostly International.
This is on Instagram. You sending this to me?
Yeah, I know. I'm sending it to you through text.
All right.
So there's a record label that I fuck with called Ghostly International. Shouts out to Ghostly International. Some of you guys who's watching, y'all might know the label. But make a long story short, their logo is just one of those logos that is so dope and simple, and it's just like you see it and it's like, oh, you know what I'm saying? It's like, how can you not like it? You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And I only bring that up because me being a graphic designer, and I know again you being a graphic designer, I feel like certain logos kind of like when you have an appreciation for it, you kind of keep a mental note, and it kind of stays up there like, yo, that aesthetically you kind of So aesthetically, you'll end up like, you know, you might subconsciously take that in and like add it to your palette.
I will say that,
and that's been on my mind for a while. That logo.
To your point, coming like when creativity is just starting, like early in my process, I love doing logo rips, just as a place to start from because there are so many. Anyway. I mean, facts. Like your logo's a logo rip, but like
Yeah.
there are so many.
That's low key part of like genius branding and like
part
a
of the
lot.
culture.
That's how a lot of the greatest things. A lot of our inventions was made off of other people's ideas.
Nothing is branded.
You know what I'm saying?
Like,
So
everything has been done. So you're gonna get inspiration from somewhere. If you think you've created the most unique thing in the world, subconsciously it
somebody
came
else
from
is,
something else.
somebody else
right?
has already done it, or
Right.
somebody else has thought about doing it.
Because you don't know what you haven't seen. So if you've seen something before,
Basically.
you know.
I mean, it goes back to one of those conversations I was having. I can't remember. I have a lot of conversations about this with people, but it's like, I mean, it goes back to reference points. Like, what are your reference points? What are you able to pull? What are you able to reference to pull from to create something that is either similar to that or I don't know, it's something completely new that people have never seen before.
All right, I'm sending you another one that I really and this we all know this one, Element Skateboards. That one has always been a really fucking dope logo.
Through IG or through text message?
I'm sending it through text.
I ain't getting none of these.
It's because I haven't sent it yet. Let's send it right now.
I was like, I've not gotten a single one of these yet. Okay.
For me, like,
I mean, you could just honestly just tell me the logo and I could look it up.
Well, yeah, Element Skateboards, Ghostly International, like those are two logos that like always stuck with me. The Ghostly International is the most recent. Element Skateboards though, that logo has always been just dope to me. I don't know why. It's something about it aesthetically. You know what I'm saying? And believe it or not, I could never. It looks easy to draw, but like it's not easy to make them draw that shit and make it look even. You would think it is. It's not. But yeah,
let me see this cover of his face. Nah, it does. All right.
I fuck with the Element Skateboards logo. Damn, man, but it's kind of a rabbit hole because there's so many logos. But I just really wanted to like see what logos inspired.
I mean,
some of the shit that you because I saw your shit on the stories. You was posting.
Oh yeah.
And we were just talking about it. Like they're like renditions of like other shit that you've seen before. It looks familiar.
They're all.
You know what I'm saying?
For Inktober, I wanted to do like a bunch of logo rips, honestly. So I wanted to recontextualize a lot of logos with music or things that are familiar to me or what I'm consuming at the time.
That So Def logo.
That's a great logo.
The So Def logo is super iconic.
That's a great logo.
Now we're getting somewhere. The Def Jam logo.
You took the words out my mouth, Tab, because like a lot of logos that come from music are very, very good, and we always think about apparel or tech or.
I'm gonna show the people.
Show the people, man. It's So Def logo. So where they won't just think we just talking about stupid shit. You can't tell me that shit ain't fire, man.
That
but there's hard. That one.
We can't talk about Bad Boy right now, but they got a cool logo.
Yeah, we can't. But yeah. Shout out to ASAP Ferg and his pops.
Yeah, apparently ASAP Ferg is supposed to be the baby in the Bad Boy logo.
What?
Allegedly.
His pops? I don't know about that.
That reference.
Allegedly, he mentioned it in an interview.
They said
he was the reference for the baby in the Bad Boy logo.
I mean, his dad
created the logo.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, his dad created the logo.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
Okay, that's tough.
Yeah, so there's that one.
So Ferg was a bad kid then, huh?
Yeah.
Sound like it.
Rambunctious.
The Def Jam icon or logo. I said Def Jam icon.
Oh, you smelled the one with the record needle?
Yeah. But it still gets the job done.
Yep.
I mean, yeah, man, these are just, it's crazy. And like some of these, they stand against the test of time. You know what I mean? Like, ain't nothing like a good logo that you can put on a t-shirt and just rock that shit. You know what I'm saying?
That's the other thing. I think another part of what makes the logo so successful is how transferable it is.
Yeah, can you use it in multiple places, multiple ways?
Does it transfer to print well? Does it transfer to media well? Does it transfer to embroidery well? Does it transfer to anything that you want to do?
I think that takes a skilled creator and designer.
Yeah.
I mean, and I only say that because a lot of people come to me who getting into creating brands, and they always are asking for tips and advice on like what they should do as far as a logo and things like that. And I always tell them, like, first off, you want to make something that before you even get to like the logo itself, I try to think about how you want it to grab you before you even think about the image. And the only way I can visualize that is I have to step back and put myself in the shoes of a consumer, which is normally how I do. So I put myself back in the shoes of a consumer, and I start to think about what I like as a consumer and what I would want to buy. And a lot of times that helps me understand, like, because in the grand scheme of things, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people, we already know what works. You know what I'm saying? We know what type of shit appeals to certain people when it comes to logos and graphics. We know certain colors that work. We just know psychologically certain things work. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I always try to tell people with logos and shit, it's not necessarily even about the image. It's about, sometimes it's just about the aesthetic. Like if that makes sense. Like because like for example, you could have a brand that's a word. You might not even need of image.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's all about
just the name with a certain typeface and color scheme.
Exactly. Yeah. So you have to really think you have to think a little different than just what a graphic looks like. You really gotta like really just have a certain type of brain to really step back and think about it from a certain level. If you want a real logo that transcends to where it's gonna be something that you can basically make into a company and then make merchandise and it has nothing to do with your actual brand. Because nowadays, if you notice, there's certain brands that's getting off making merchandise and they don't have to make merchandise, but they doing it because they can and the logo looks cool and the shit.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? It's like, why not? Somebody's gonna buy it.
That's a great
This
logo.
This is a logo that I used to
great
always
logo.
rock
That
with.
kind of reminds me of the Zenith too. Zenith always had a dope
The
logo.
PV Electronics logo.
Yeah. The amps.
We used to always have these in my schools. Like these were always the speakers and the subs.
When
in
they amps,
schools.
right?
Amps. They used to make a bunch of audio equipment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this was a logo that I used to always rock with. It just reminded me of some like, I don't know, 1980s.
That's crazy because
rock
now you
shit.
reminded me of the Zenith logo.
Zenith TV.
Yeah.
But to Ern's point though, bro, we have to keep logos expressive. Like that is a quintessential example of if you were to rebrand PV in 2020, that logo would look nothing like
Which one? Which Zenith joint?
this joint.
Yeah. That's the one. That's our joint. That's our era.
Right. Like, you know, there was a graphic that was floating around probably a year or two ago when a lot of the fashion houses were going to a sans serif font and taking a lot of the expressionism away from the heritage that they came from in fashion. Let me pull up the graphic that I'm talking about so y'all can just see what I'm talking about.
All right. If you want to send it to me, I can pull it up on the screen.
Yeah, I'm sending it to you.
How do you feel while you're searching? Since we're on this subject, how y'all feel about the X rebranding of X? It's probably the worst thing ever.
It's my Twitter.
Rebranding.
Yeah.
You see, every time somebody says X, I'm like, what are you talking about?
It's stupid, right?
It takes a minute for me to register that they're talking about Twitter.
I think Elon Musk was definitely on something for that. That was the dumbest shit ever.
I mean, it was just nothing wrong with the bird.
Yeah, nothing.
Like,
it was just some Elon Musk shit to do. I'm gonna do this because I got money and I
the
can.
bird was hard, to be honest.
Yeah, it worked. Like
man.
the thing is, it sounds so weird because like X is not even marketable. Like how the fuck do you like
Right.
I'm about to go X something. What? I'm about to go tweet. Like tweet was genius actually because it's damn near a new word. You know what I'm saying? Like
it
tweet,
was a new verb.
You know what I mean?
It was a verb.
Yeah,
it became a verb.
Yeah, like
tweeting.
You can't X something. Well, I can X a motherfucker out.
But like, it don't hit the same as like I'm about to go tweet or I'm about to tweet. Let's hop on Twitter with it real quick.
Actually, here's even a better version of what I'm talking about.
That's the evolution of.
Yeah.
In general, and how everything is moving towards a simplified sans
Yep.
serif. Like we're in such a crowded space when it.
But that's been like this for a minute though. If you've been paying attention,
it's because we're in this Web 2 era that is so like
it's the minimalistic type shit.
It's minimalist.
Yeah,
it's applicable to the internet, and this is what's palatable on the internet. But it's like you lose all your expressionism. You lose a lot of the. That PV logo was a great example. Like you can tell that came from music because it's so.
It looks hand drawn too.
And rock, right?
Yeah.
The Zenith logo is another great example because you can tell that came from electronics. Like it looks that way inherently in the logo. There's some visual cues that are there that let you know, okay, this is what this brand is about. Everything being sans serif and small and quaint and clean is cool and transitions
It has a
well
place.
across. It has
I'm
a place
definitely gonna
because,
say it has a place.
you know, you can start an Instagram page, a Twitter page, or X page, whatever, a TikTok or whatever, and have these nice clean logo in all these different spots, and it looks like a cohesive brand very quickly. But you lose you lose a lot of that value that comes from the logo being expressive.
This brings me back. This is why I like these type of conversations because
I don't know. Are you sure? I don't know if you.
I don't know. I don't think they came through yet.
when it comes to art,
this is the one.
Yeah.
there's no right or wrong way, and it's so fucking just. It's like you can't put this shit into words. It's like one thing may be this, and the next thing may be that. One day it's this, next day it's that. It's just art. It's very like you can mold it into something damn near, make it into anything.
Dang, that was the original Spotify logo?
That's what I'm saying.
What?
Let me see.
We didn't even know.
That shit whack.
with the signal, yeah, like the signal on it.
Maybe that was just the concept.
Oh, that's a little elevated, off centered.
Maybe that was just the concept.
I kind of like it. I like that one. It has more personality to it.
It looks more.
The old Airbnb logo just looks like bubble letters.
It looks more youthful.
Google is Google. I feel like they kind of updated. Actually, nah, never mind. I mean, this Google logo's a little cleaner.
Because it's sans serif.
Yeah.
But what I was gonna say was with
this Microsoft is undefeated.
with
though.
things going
That's what I'm
minimal,
saying.
I feel like now it's just time to kind of like evolve from that and what's the word? I don't want to say. I guess evolve, and create something new. Because me personally, I'm actually before I even get into this, how do you feel about the minimalistic shit? Do you are you ready for a change? Are you saying you're getting tired of it, or are you saying like
I'm over it.
Because like I actually kind of like it. But I do think it can get overplayed because people don't know how to do it right. I think people always do shit because it just looks aesthetically cool, not having a certain approach to it.
I mean, the minimalistic shit might be over at this fucking mid 2000s fashion shit comes back into play.
It depends on how you approach it. Remember that shit I was showing you at the Thanksgiving dinner where we was talking about it was like the juxtaposition of AI photos where it was like the dude in the clean fucking suits, but he was around garbage.
Oh, yeah.
To me, I kind of feel like in a way, creatively, that's kind of where I want to approach with the way things are creatively. Like a lot of shit is in that minimal type vibe, very clean, minimal, clean cut, not a lot going on. You know what I'm saying? I want to kind of like now bring back like grime and kind of mix it with that like minimalism, which I kind of feel like certain brands already kind of do.
Do you have an example of a brand that's doing that well? I'm trying to put a visual to.
Honestly, to be real with you, I don't even fuck with this brand, but Balenciaga, they do it quite often.
I'm going from, you said, a minimalistic standpoint.
They tend to do like certain things that they do is minimalistic,
but it's also maximalist at the same
exactly,
time.
You know what I'm saying?
Like
they'll match that shit together, and I appreciate that aesthetic. You know what I'm saying? I get it. If you get it, then you understand it.
Yeah.
And so like
that's a great example.
Exactly. So it's like they're very minimalistic, but even motherfucking well, I was gonna say Rick Owens. He's more of a very minimalistic, but I still feel like to an extent, even sometimes his shit can be a little.
Prime example is the Ludacris commercial.
Nah, that shit was just. He looked so weird in that shit.
Oh, he looked crazy.
Crazy in that shit.
He had to toe a Rick in that commercial.
That was crazy.
That commercial makes me so angry when I see it, bro.
I was like, nah, Luda, you gotta
like,
his
wait,
shit is
so
atrocious.
I was looking at it and I was like, why do I feel like I've seen this outfit before? But
I can't really use Rick Owens that much. Actually, now that I think about it, because marketing wise, he's always been minimalistic. But I can safely say, because fashion design wise, the shit can get wild, but marketing wise, it's not. When it comes to Balenciaga, they literally market their shit in that way, the way we explaining it.
Okay,
you know what I'm saying? So I can't use Rick Owens as an example, but Balenciaga for sure. They definitely are a prime example of people who their approach is very minimalistic, kind of, but at the same time, it's wild. It's like I can't explain it, man. It's like it's definitely a juxtaposition with the shit. And a lot of this, and they be mocking. A lot of the times, they do mock a lot of shit.
Yeah,
they do purposely mock a lot of shit too.
Yeah.
So
they that they have some. I'm gonna make 2 quick points. Balenciaga is a great example because if you look at their garments, I feel like they play in a different space than their footwear. Their footwear is more expressive and maximalist and over-engineered.
God, I hate those triple S's.
That's a
I don't like none of that
example.
shit.
A lot of their like running heavy or running inspired recent footwear is like really overdone, over-engineered. But then you look at their clothing and it's like just loose fitting with a tiny logo in the middle. And
Some
like,
of it.
It seems to be a lot of their identity. They do have things that obviously fall outside of that, that scope. But that's a great example. Another, to me, like if you wanna distill that exact point, but just to like a graphic visual identity, I think that Brain Dead as a company does that well. I think that they represent themselves minimal but maximal at the same time.
There's a lot of brands that's doing it, bro. Fucking Andrew.
Explain.
So
You said that a minimal and maximals?
Yeah.
Okay, go
Yeah,
ahead.
because
you got a point. They got some prints that are like
their
all
OG
over.
logo is literally Andrew lowercase.
Yeah.
Ain't it lowercase? It's fucking simple as fuck, but you
It's
get
not
it and it
lowercase,
works.
but it's like all
Oh,
like
okay, my bad. It's not
what
lowercase.
it is kind of like I guess it's
It's just saying serif font. It's
Yeah.
just a little
so like it just says Andrew.
with the period, right?
I don't even think it has a
There's no
period. It doesn't have a
period,
period.
I got
They
awesome
have
nothing. Mine has a
they have
period.
one variation of the logo where it's all lowercase that has a period.
Okay.
See, that's what exactly. That's the one I'm thinking of as lowercase.
But in general, it's just Andrew with the capitalized A and everything else lowercase.
But by default, it's skateboarding. So by default, even without marketing and showing any like juxtaposition imagery, it's skateboarding. It's street skating. It's the streets. You know what I'm saying? But their brand itself, their logo just says Andrew. But then they have designs and graphics that that go all over the place.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But again, I still use Balenciaga as the best example because
so this is
marketing wise, they tend to use their ads in that way.
This is their logo.
Yeah, okay.
I'm fucking zoom in. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. To your point though, Tevin, I think skateboarding is another, I don't want to say underrated because I feel like people in this industry understand the importance of skateboarding, but
People have been trying to exploit the shit, but
that happens a lot.
Yeah.
But in terms of like graphics and a nice place to start in terms of like a breadth of graphic culture, skateboarding's there. And music is also underrepresented.
I mean, I've always
in that
kind of
space.
liked skateboarding for their graphic tees from a fashion standpoint because they've always never really been, to your point, into our conversation that we're having now, really all that maximal. It's been like a word with like a small little image or something like that, or maybe just like a chest piece with a logo on the back, or a nice clean logo in the center of the chest,
Supreme was really the brand that made it like super
or clean graphic in the center of the chest.
super expressive with all these all over prints and
I mean,
jacquard.
I do like the example you pulled up showing the evolution of the brands though, going to that into the minimal thing. It's gonna be it just takes that next thing, you know what I'm saying? That next person with the vision to push the envelope and bring something new. But I can safely say honestly, I actually kind of have enjoyed the minimal run. I started to use it in a lot of my stuff. I see it and I enjoy it. Like if you know how to do it, it works every time, in my opinion. So I think it's always gonna be a place for it. I think the problem is just so much saturation. You got to pick through the bullshit, and like people always want to be something and look like something, but they don't even understand like why they're doing it. You know what I'm saying?
Bro? I'm gonna go down this rabbit hole with you, bro, because I think I saw a Complex article the other day that might prove exactly what you're talking about. I'm gonna look up best or top brands, streetwear brands, whatever you want to call it, of 2023, and my argument is. Okay, maybe Highsnobiety does this. But regardless of who's putting out this publication, if you look at what brands people are consuming right now, they're moving away from that super minimalist. Like, I feel like a top 5 brand of last year is like Cactus Plant Flea Market. Or this year. That's a very expressive brand, opposite of minimal. Like a lot of
you got Mischief.
Very expressive.
and yeah. And
Like-
that's a whole, there was a word for that too. I forgot. There was somebody talking about it.
Mischief is kind of like
I don't fuck with the brand, but I like the concept. They're
on
not
some like tongue-in-cheek shit almost.
But
They're a social
I
experiment
like
brand
I
almost.
like that about them.
it's not really about the
It's
Matter
not
of,
for
it's
me.
like on some like matter of fact shit. As a matter of fact, I will because you said
And when
it
you
can't.
when you started the pod off and you asked me like what do you see yourself in like I would love to take Mischief's blueprint and operate in that space. I would love, because to me they portray themselves as a brand that we have an idea, we execute it, we do it, we put it out, the people like it, they buy it, we move on to the next project.
That's
like
that,
there
yeah.
is no
with this art we just create, man.
they just create freely.
that's what it's about. That's what it's
and
about. Yeah.
people consume it, and that's what pays their bills and keeps their lights on. That's what it seems like.
Yeah, it's on some matter of fact shit.
Right?
Like,
and
yeah, we're just about to just do this shit because, as a matter of fact,
We
nobody
can.
else is doing
Yeah.
it, and because we can.
I appreciate breaking away from the formalities that have defined an industry in the past. Like Jerry Lorenzo doesn't design on a calendar. He doesn't design on fall, winter, spring, summer, whatever. He just designs whenever he feels inspired, and it comes out when it comes out. And I appreciate that about, like we were saying earlier, not being forced to be in a box. Like, oh, you want to be a designer? This is what a designer looks like. You design these number of collections a year, and they come out at these dates, and you debut them at these weeks. Like, it doesn't have to be that. And when we talk about brands that fit this minimalist identity where everything is super tight and super well, like, I feel like they play more in that space than the Cactus Plants or the Mischiefs or these other brands that are breaking that mold. And that's why I feel like we're on the end of that whole like minimalist era. Like, I still have an appreciation for it. I came from architecture, so like obviously I really like clean lines. Like, I get that, but there's less. That stuff is always going to sell. Like, there's always going to be a market for it, but there's less. There's more room for
Expression now.
Right. I mean, this shit is, man. This is how the world works. It's all part of a cycle. It's
Like I said,
inevitable.
in my opinion, it makes sense though, just based on the current, I guess, cyclical trend of fashion that we're in. Like the whole like Y2K era is kind of on its way out, and we're entering the like mid 2000s ish, where people were wearing a bunch of like gaudy, all over
I'm
print
talking
stuff.
about like Ed Hardy coming back and like
Yeah,
That's just not coming back.
bro, it's back.
It's definitely
It's back.
coming back.
I don't know about that one.
It's back. One of my homeboys had on the Ed Hardy tee the other day.
Yeah.
I don't know about
talk to
that
you-
one. Ed
check-
Hardy.
Talk to
Robin
the Gen Zs,
James.
man. I mean, talk to the Gen Z, the Gen X, the whatever, the youth. They bringing all that stuff back.
Yep.
It's coming back.
Some of this shit got to stay back where it's at.
Honestly, I kind of like the resurgence of Ed Hardy. I'm not mad at it.
Nah, bring back fucking Red Monkeys and
Bring
fucking,
back Kid Robot.
Yes, but Kid Robot doesn't make good shit anymore. That's the thing. Good
they
Kid.
still
I was
around?
just on their web. They don't make
Yeah, I was
good
like, are they
toys.
even
Their
still making
toys are
products?
whack now.
They must
All they
be-
do is put out plushies and stuff.
They must
Stupid ass
be-
like little mini like they don't do anything cool no more, dude. Like the whole artist collab shit that used to be a really big deal. Like when they had the snorking labbits and all that shit. They don't got like it's just not hitting like it used to be, man. It's just not like. I damn near want to say rest in peace to Kid Robot because it really ain't.
I thought they
even
were.
the merch
I
ain't
didn't know
even
they were
the
still-
clothes. The clothes ain't even hit. They don't even have any dope clothes or anything no more. Like
They had to have been acquired and then got the rights to rebrand it. Like, it can't be the same Kid Robot we grew up
I
on.
don't think it is.
It can't be.
It can't be, bro.
It's like
they don't even have
nowadays.
flagship stores like that anymore.
That's what I'm saying.
They
It
used
can't
to
be
have
the same.
flagship stores, bro.
I ain't seen anybody wear a Kid Robot anything past like
High school.
High school.
I mean, and only people that you had to be one of them types to even like
even
nobody.
know what it
Yeah,
was.
no one knew. No one knew who Kid Robot was like that.
But I would say
Darius was the only one I knew that had a Kid Robot T-shirt.
Darius.
Dark skin. I don't remember. He funny as hell. Darius.
Oh, with the fade.
Yeah.
y'all funny.
Big nose Darius.
Yeah, Darius.
That's crazy.
Nah,
Yeah,
but he
funny.
cool.
He had a big
Shout out
nose,
to
though. He was
Darius.
dark-skinned,
He,
he
you
had a big
know,
nose.
he's funny as
He had
hell.
a fade. I think he went to
Yeah.
East Meck before he transferred to our school.
Hey man,
He was
shout out
funny
to
as hell.
East Mac.
But
East Mac and Butler was gonna be my homeschool if I didn't go to private school.
for real,
Shout out to all the Butler homies from back in the day.
we low key can go down a rabbit hole with this logo shit. So I guess we'll go ahead and move on because honestly, I feel like we could talk this graphic shit all day. But moving on to the next topic, man. This one is kind of an interesting one because there's been a lot of talks from different people, kind of just speaking on how they feel about ownership of physical copies on different things in media, like how we basically indulge in most of our entertainment through like services, like streaming services, and a lot of us grew up on physical copies like VHS tapes, CDs, DVDs, and this and that. So it's been kind of like a thing where people are kind of like talking about bringing this shit back. A lot of people are kind of, you know, wishing they didn't give up a lot of their DVD players and things of that nature. There was this guy on Instagram talking about it. Actually, I sent it to Ern. So if you want to show him real quick,
Yeah, roll the clip, roll
Pull it
tape.
up.
and we'll touch base on it. But I thought it was really interesting because I've always been somebody who's always like, I'm a collector, so inevitably I'm gonna hold on to shit. I guess I'm one of them hoarders, but like I never liked the cloud, so it never made sense to me to give up a lot of my shit. I mean, I gave up some, but when it came to DVDs and CDs, I'm never giving that away.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I just can't. Even if I don't got a DVD player, I'm not giving it away.
Well, I'm about to roll this clip real quick.
My biggest regret in life was getting rid of my DVDs.
So I keep hearing this from people, not only online, but friends and family. And a lot of people have really regretted getting rid of all their physical media, whether it be DVDs or Blu-rays, because of the streaming services. I saw one post online that said, apparently, you know, the future is we have to Google for 15 minutes to find out which streaming service we can watch our movie on. It's kind of a crazy thing because if you invest in physical media, Guillermo del Toro and Christopher Nolan both talked about it this week. It's ownership, it's the best quality, it preserves the media, and it makes sure that you have unlimited access to your favorite movies. So I really do think we're going to start to see a shift, just like we've seen in music with vinyl records coming back. CD sales are actually up, cassette tapes are back. People are started to invest in music, physical media again, even with all the streaming options, because they just wanted the best quality and they wanted ownership. You're going to start to see that with movies, and if you're a movie fan and you haven't bought any DVDs or Blu-rays yet, I encourage you to take a look at what's out there. There are so many great labels doing amazing work, so many great quality transfers of new movies like you've never seen before, and this is a really, really cool time to jump into physical media. Plus, you get to support the movies at a higher level, and you never have to go Googling all those streaming services to figure out which way you can actually watch your movie.
And before we and I also want to reiterate, I mean, no, not reiterate, but piggyback off that too. It's like the reality of it is you're gonna have to literally damn near buy all those streaming services in order to make sure you get all the scope of what you want.
Wild.
Because everything's a conglomerate now. Everything's monopolized. So it's like, if you want to watch something by Disney, you gotta go through a Disney service. If you want to watch a certain movie, like HBO owns certain movies, you know what I'm saying? Like Netflix owns this, you know, all these services own different things. So you inevitably won't be able to watch certain movies because they're going to be owned by certain services. So, but you ain't gonna have to worry about that if you have the physical copy.
Bingo.
I mean,
You already know what my answer is. I'm like you. I'm a collector. It's physical all day for me.
I got that case over there. Must start collecting DVDs and shit, discs.
This is like a 2 or 3 prong answer. So why physical media is king to me? One is because, like the video suggested, I like to consume it in the way that it was intended to me, and the way technology progresses, the only way to do that is to have the physical media. We were talking about games before we started the pod, right? I want to play a game that came out in the 90s in its true 64-bit. Like, I don't want to play it upscaled on some console where it's been emulated and now projected to me in 4K or 1080p or whatnot. Like, I want to consume it as it was intended in 2000 when it came out. And the only way to do that, honestly, is to have the original hardware and the original media itself. So how, you experience it, I feel like it's part of wanting that physical media. There are examples where I do appreciate the retroing of media or the upscaling of media to consume it in a a refreshed or a updated manner, but like 9 times out of 10 I'm gonna want that original thing. And then the other part of it for me is value and being able to pass that on to someone else. There's no value in downloaded media. Like I couldn't see myself paying $70. That's what games cost now. I think 70 beans, right?
Yeah,
I couldn't imagine
just for a download, a code essentially.
Right. And then
Put it into your console.
that lives on my console, and then I have no tangible asset to show for my $70 purchase. I just can't live with that. I like that. I don't care if the game is worth $2 at GameStop after I've played it for a year, but just the fact that I have the disc, and you're talking about artworks and logos. Like I like to consume the artwork. I like to open up the
Look
binder.
at the credits.
Oh my god! Like I like to look at the
credits. Look at the see if there's a poster in there. Or
Right, it's an experience.
There's an experience
dude.
there to physical product, and I feel like that's
Right.
always going to be king for me. I don't care how
Yes.
much space it takes up in my apartment or my house or my
I feel that.
whatever. Like
That's part of the reason why I feel like a lot
fucking
of
feel that, dude.
I don't know. Being a consumer in 2023 sometimes sucks.
It
'Cause
does.
It's like, damn, like
how you interact with product
where's
matters.
the experience that comes along with actually purchasing? the
Waiting in a
product?
line for an album and then talking
Like,
to the people in line like,
Kids
yo, you wait on
nowadays,
this?
kids nowadays don't even get to experience a midnight release for a video game anymore. Like the midnight release for Call of Duty, midnight release for 2K, midnight release for Halo. Like
There's a lot of experiences stripped from a lot of
there's
things.
a whole culture that comes with being into this stuff, to being into like I guess
Right.
being a consumer.
Right.
And then on top of that too, we're in a very unusual time
That
where
this generation of kids is just missing out on.
we're in an unusual time where for some reason a lot of the things that we never thought would have value is damn near everything has value now. So like what you was just saying, how like that video game that may be worth $2, bro, who's to say in the next 5 years that shit gonna go back up to $20 to $30? And I'm starting to really realize that like shit is really like VHS tapes, man. Like my mom, we used to go yard selling all the time. My mom bought a set of VHS tapes from somebody one time. It was all original horror VHS tapes.
Yeah.
But long story short, these VHS tapes was going for like 85 to 100 a pop. Even without the fucking box.
Yeah, I believe it.
VHS
These
tapes.
tapes were there.
Because
They
like
were
I'm saying,
original, like the
what
original
ones were?
Nightmare on Elm Street, original Halloween, like the originals. Like
people want to consume that stuff with the grain,
Yeah.
with the stuff
You know what I'm
that's
saying?
on the like that media itself delivers you an experience that you can't get from streaming.
can't get. So it's like certain things is like when you think about it from that standpoint, like it's something as simple as a fucking VHS tape. It just makes you want to reconsider a lot of the things that we get rid of, all for the sake of saving space.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, shit is holding value. A lot of stuff
Yeah,
is
because like I feel like I might, not to cut you off, but I feel like I might have mentioned this. My uncle that lives in Texas got a mean Playboy collection. Like literally every single Playboy from like the 60s up through like the early 2000s.
damn.
No, that's cash.
I just want him to give me that shit when he passes. Like, I'm like, bro, like out of all your shit you got,
Respectfully.
I want that collection. Like,
Nah, but like
not even on some like.
That's the
shit,
point.
This is like, yo, like
if we
I walked into his house and I saw that joint. And I was like, yo, like,
right,
fuck the fact this is a Playboy collection. Like, this
also,
dude
not
just
to,
got
I
a
know
whole
we're going on
collection.
car, going jumping, but like another thing too, motherfucker, we won't have no fucking cloud if you don't have physical. Because in order to get shit
Yeah.
to a cloud,
You
you
have to have
had to
physical.
have a physical. So if we get rid of everything physical and you lose the cloud, then what?
right, like to y'all's point, like that's
gonna be like the
part
Book
of
of
my
Eli.
existence. Like you talking about you want your uncle's Playboy collect, like the things that we are into right now. I want there, like once I'm not here on this earth anymore, there to be a physical representation of what was Justin like, and physical media is that. Like you can walk into my room and be like, oh, he was into these things. If I'm a minimalist and everything's downloaded, there's no footprint.
There's no expression.
There's no footprint of what I was.
Right.
Nope.
Unless you have my
It's
hard
all
drive
on a computer chip.
and you don't have my hard
Yeah.
drive because you don't have my password.
Right.
So like,
Nah.
you know, what I'm like, physical media is always going to be king for me, from a value standpoint, from a how you experience standpoint, from a being able to to have something tangible you can pass on to other people. Like even back in the day when people was done with a mixtape or done with a CD, they would burn it, hand it to their homeboy.
Right.
Like we can't do that. Like I want to send you a link, and then what happened when that link expired? Like you have nothing to. It's a different way of consumption, and I know I probably sound like a whatever, but
nah, but it's the harsh reality of where we at right now because. And this is another interesting thing, man.
I feel like I see both sides of it though. Like it's nice to have like to be able to just tap in or whatever the hell you have physically, digitally, whenever you want the ability to do so. But at the same time, like I don't know, I feel like
from a creation standpoint, like when you were saying I don't fuck with the cloud, I'm not gonna go that far because from a creation standpoint, that's amazing. That saves a lot of time. I
say that with a grain of salt.
Walking around with like. Think about when they used to like record movies on reels. Like, I couldn't imagine walking around with all that footage just to put out you know what I'm saying?
We were just talking about crates and DJing, so yeah.
I can appreciate it from a like. I just want to be able to organize things to be non-physical and use them the way that I intend them to be, when I need them to perform that way. But the things that I want to still remain physical, I'm rocking with physical every time.
Definitely. But yeah, like I said, I see both sides of it, especially from a DJ standpoint. Like, I mean, it's nice to have an ill record collection, but at the same time, like from a realistic standpoint, when it comes to like gigging and stuff like that, ain't nobody lugging around milk crates.
Realistically, don't even have room for that.
Like,
realistically, for real, to move around.
I couldn't imagine y'all pulling up the DJ and y'all got 10 crates in the back. Y'all got to unload from the car just so y'all can spin. Like, that's not happening, bro.
Right.
But honestly, like, that's the world my dad came from. Like, my dad was a DJ growing up. He had a business called Sights and Sounds. He would do DJ and photography. Just for people, friends and family, anybody who needs some services. And he still got crates of LPs, big.
You know what had me thinking, man, since we're on this conversation? I wonder if there's something in the world that exists where there is a large library, physical library that holds at least one copy of
everything that existed.
No, just DVDs, like movies.
Oh, like a media library, basically.
Yeah, is there any real life media libraries in the world that exist? There has to be like an archive type library
somewhere, or something like that.
It just makes me think because like if there's libraries for books. Where do we have like another random tangent? Apparently Oreos has a fucking chamber or something where like I forgot where it's at. Oreos, the company, they have like a bunker with Oreos in it.
I did see this.
You know what I'm saying?
And they buried it somewhere so the future can know what.
Yeah.
Oreos
So it's like what?
Yeah.
So what do we do to preserve media?
It's like a recipe for Oreos.
Nah, it's like whoa. No,
it's Oreos. I think it's just Oreos.
So they don't expire then.
I don't know I don't know exactly.
They're like vacuum sealed or something. But the point was so that the footprint of Oreos is felt 1,000 years in the future.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
But I'm saying not to say that.
And filled it with Oreo.
How do we preserve that type of shit? Because I don't want to hear anybody say we preserve it by cloud. That's bullshit. Yes, that's backing it up. That's a form of backing it up. But physical, you know what I'm saying? I feel like as long as the world doesn't turn into a ball of flames, we should be able to preserve. And don't get me wrong, this is a very like extreme because we would never be able to recover every single piece of film. But I feel like we should be able to because at one point it was filmed with something and made into a physical piece. But I feel like there has to be some type of library that exists in the world where it has like an archive of every fucking VHS tape or DVD that has been produced in America or some shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Around the world.
Like somebody definitely got some of this, probably like a museum of media or something like that.
It has to be.
And they purchase a copy.
I should Google this shit. This is a Google word.
I could be talking about my ass right now, but like,
this is type of shit you YouTube.
I feel like there's got to be. I feel like it would make sense for there to be some type of media museum that has backlogged every type of.
Counterpoint is I have heard so many horror stories about media that existed, but the creator had like 1 or 2 copies, and then something happened to said creator, and now it doesn't exist anymore.
The what now?
Every once in a while, I'm just talking about like the existing or not existing of physical media, and how without like I appreciate the benefit of the cloud so that we have a digital backup of things like that.
Yeah, because unless you share it with somebody.
Right, and there are so many like every once in a while I'll be watching some documentary.
Okay,
late at night.
they got an Academy Film Archive, but
Okay, it's
that's
something.
but that's just films though.
It's something.
It's still there. I mean, they got
True.
the original film, so they can take that film and
Yeah.
True.
do what they need to do
Now,
with it.
what is this like for CDs and things like that? That's what I'm like, because there's multiple forms of media.
Y'all ever seen a Game Over on Netflix?
No,
I think I know what you're talking about.
It's just the history of video games. It's like a little
Okay, no,
whatever.
different.
that sounds familiar. Actually, I might have seen that.
It was popping on Netflix probably a year or so ago. But point being, they're going along the history of whatever game that they're trying to explain, and they're explaining like the origin of this one game that became super popular. And they bring on this one guest who had like a cult classic game on PC, like right when PCs became a thing. And it's what
I feel like I know what you're
spawned
talking about.
Yeah, I feel like I've seen
this
this
other
before.
thing. The point I'm trying to make is he ended up losing his original copy of that game, as well as like maybe the computer that it came from. So like this game just there's a whole collective conscious of people out there that have memories around this game and loving this game.
And it's hard to get.
But that game doesn't exist anymore because there was only two or three physical copies. One of them got lost in a house fire. One of them got lost in a move, and then the other one just like, you know what I'm saying, just like over.
Yeah, it's just like some low-key games that only certain people had. So it's like
right. And it like there are so many examples of stories like this with gaming, with
Yeah,
film.
because I mean, if you're not one of those people that actually holds on to your game collection,
And this is the reason why people like us are
or holds
special,
value
and
in
I'm
your
so
game collection,
passionate.
you just
Because if you don't have, and this is another reason why I
into the
always
ether.
Facts.
appreciate people who enjoy history, man. Because once you stop caring about history, you literally don't hold on to anything no more. You have to have people like us who nerd out about shit like this because that's what keeps the shit alive. Literally, if you didn't have it, bro, we would literally be cloud everything and we wouldn't have antique store. Like, you think about it now, antique stores are kind of they're running out right now. Because if you think about it, ever since you've been on this fucking earth, bro, which is from the time you was born up until now, when you saw an antique store, who ran an antique store?
old woman.
It's old people.
Old people in general.
You've never seen an antique store ran by anybody young or our age. So that says a lot about where we are in the times. Because if antique stores are becoming like less relevant and you only see old people, that means that there's not a lot of people our age that care about old shit.
Yeah, no, I mean, and the people that honestly, it's so weird because like a lot of people that I feel like are into like the vintage stuff and have these vintage stores sometimes don't even actually appreciate this
They
shit.
don't.
They
It's
just see
just
it
a
as
it's a
a quick.
dollar.
They just see it as a
I see the
quick
dollar
buck.
signs. Yeah.
And we see that. We know that.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it is.
Hey, that's one of my. Nah, I ain't gonna
That's
get
the
this hot take
irony.
off
Actually,
now.
that's funny. That's funny you bring that up because that's actually the irony. There are people who own stores, but they're boutiques and then ran like boutiques, and they're not treated like hole in the wall thrift stores where you can go in and buy a gem for $1. You want to try to hit me over the head for something
Right.
that you don't even really fully understand
Damn
the
what it
origins
is.
of, but you know because it's kind of has some hype to it. Or I can
No,
charge
you know
this.
because you saw that same T-shirt on eBay for $300.
I will never buy. This is my
think you
hot
can
take.
charge $300
This is my
for it?
one hot take for the podcast. I'm gonna cool out.
All right.
I will never buy a vintage rap tee from a white dude.
Okay.
What happened? You had a bad experience?
I just won't do it because to the point you're talking
Some of
about.
these white dudes be having some joints though.
They do, but
They
they
be
don't
having
come
some
from a
joints.
culture like us. Like I want the tee because it resonated with me
Okay.
as a youth, and my uncle had the tee, my dad or something.
But what if it's like a okay? Have you seen the book Rap Tees?
The book?
Have you heard the book Rap Tees?
Yeah, I know the. I know the.
What if it's from a white dude like that?
Like there are okay. I can't exclusively say just because you're white I'm not buying a t-shirt like that. The sentiment remains in that.
I feel like I get where you're going with this.
Right,
but
Like
right.
there are so many culture vultures in vintage.
Yes, there's
right.
so many culture
So-
vultures around black culture in general
Right.
already.
I get you.
And I'm not with being upsold $200-$300 for a tee that you found at the bins and probably can't name 2 or 3 of their songs.
Okay, yeah. I get that. I get that.
If you came from a community close to mine and you've had the tee or it's been around and
Or you went to the
whatever,
original show.
Or you get it.
you know what
Yeah,
I'm saying,
yeah,
or you're a
like-
legit fan or whatever, cool. But especially in Portland, like I can just tell when that's not the case.
Of course.
And
You rocking a Public Enemy tee. But you
they have
you
no
know,
idea
you
what they stood
ain't, you know what I'm saying?
have no idea what they stood
And we ain't
for.
talking
But you
about
know
no
it goes for
fight for power.
$500.
And
But
ain't,
you
got, and ain't got a single black friend.
And that's why I'm like, vintage, especially in like a pocket like Portland, is so touchy for me, especially when it comes to like black culture.
I feel that.
Because that's what
Understandable.
holds value. You can go get a Garth Brooks shirt at any thrift store that has a fire all over print graphic, but it's Garth Brooks and it's
so
$45.
funny. It's so
What
funny
I've
you
been
said
saying
that.
this whole
But
time.
to that point though, it's so funny you said that, bro. Because I had a whole bunch of like old like HBCU stuff that my mom for some reason just sent out this way. And I'm
Our
like,
parents
why would
went
you
to
send? I'm like, why did
HBCUs.
you send this to Portland? I'm like, yo, I felt so crazy trying to get rid of that show. I was like, yo, but I ended up giving it to do you know big homie Amiri Rose?
What does that sound familiar?
He used to work over at the brand. He used to work over in the agency space too. I think he's doing his own thing. Done some stuff with I think he's done some stuff with Mima.
Okay.
He's like creative director. Anyway,
Okay.
his wife went to Howard with one of my pretty much older cousins.
Okay.
And I knew that his whole family was kind of like tied to the HBCU space. And they also had some younger kids in the family, right? So I was like, okay, bet these are the perfect people to offload this to.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, they ain't necessarily go to Tuskegee, but you know,
Yeah.
if I'm gonna give it to anybody, I'm gonna give it to some young black kids in
Yeah.
Portland, as opposed to putting it in the thrift shop or giving it to a thrift shop and seeing some white kid
what I've been saying- what I've been saying
who's
so
never
far
even
so
heard of
far.
Tuskegee, doesn't even know how to
Yeah.
pronounce the name of the university. Have them walking around in that shit. I would have felt
Respectfully.
crazy.
Yeah.
Respectfully.
Let me backtrack by saying, I'm not knocking anybody in their hustle. If that's your hustle and that's what you do, that's cool.
Again.
But you're just not gonna get me with it because
Respectfully.
unless I can understand a little bit more about you,
And
why you're doing it.
I respect the fact
you
that
know?
you're saying that, because that shows that you care about the preservation of the culture. You know what I'm saying? Again, we got to be a little anal about shit like that, because it's like
Well,
too
when
many
you-
vultures, like you said, and yeah, we got to curate this shit.
But it goes deeper than that because when you talk about like equity in Black America, this is about to be a whole nother but like the transition of wealth. Like, okay, prime example, bootleg rap tees. These are rap tees that somebody's uncle had printed at their local screen print shop and was selling outside the concert in '92. Not the official joint.
I know you're
But you know what I'm talking about? Those are
shirt over
going
the shoulder.
like that was that. Okay, if you talk about the travel of a black dollar, that's a black dude who in the '90s spent his black dollar to make a tee to sell back to his community.
To get a printing press.
You know what I'm saying? And then you removing, like, as soon as it ends up in the hands of someone who didn't come from that culture and they're selling it back to me, like, that's the dollar's been lost. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't support that. Like,
Not only has the dollar been lost, it's the value in general has been kind of lost on it. It's like,
like I'm appreciative that it holds value,
value
and that
and
you
that it's
see
still in
it
existence.
as something that's worth $300-$500. But once it's left my community and now it's being sold back to my community, that's the entire like equity piece that black folk are missing, and that's why I can't rock
feel
with that
that.
transition of, because like that creation that was our equity, like that. Somebody's uncle put that bootleg graphic together. Somebody's aunt put that bootleg graphic together. And then, you know, it became a staple in the communities that it was in. But then for it to leave our community and then be sold back to us for a 1,000% markup, like,
shit feels
I
wrong.
can't.
It feels
I
wrong.
feel that.
I just can't.
I mean, shit, man. I feel like at the end of the day,
I mean, but that's how I feel about a lot of like retro product that comes out from these brands and shit. I'm like, yo, like unless it's like, for example, like the only situation, I guess the only scenario in my mind where it honestly makes sense is the Protro shit, because they're actually updating the specs in what would be outdated product to make
So
it
you're, hold on. Nah,
viable
you
for
gotta,
today's.
You got to stand on this take.
What
So,
you mean? And I get inflation's a thing.
Protro is the only value you see in retro product?
No. I'm saying from a like, if you're charging a premium for it,
Oh, okay.
because you're able to actually take something that was
And use it
intended
again.
for use initially in that particular space, but you're also able to take it in today's space and still get just as busy in it because they've updated the tech specs in it.
Yeah. Okay.
I can't do that in those over there. I can't do that in a lot of the shit I have in my room over there. Like, but they at a retail price are taxing more taxing the consumer more for that than they are the shit that's meant for you to play in today. I'm like, that shit don't make no fucking sense. But I get it, inflation.
Yeah, it's a lot that goes into that.
At the end of the day,
I
hold on to
agree.
your shit,
Material sourcing and stuff, but it's just like, yo, like, what?
And
Like,
it's a lot to do with like the construction of shoes.
yeah,
like
that too.
You have to pay for that skilled labor to put like a complicated shoe together with a crazy midsole outsole combo. Like that's just not an easy mold like a Dunk or a Jordan 1 or whatever. Like,
but it's just annoying to see the consumer have to go through that shit.
Yeah,
and get
yeah,
taxed for some shit that's been obsolete for 30 years.
yeah, that's true.
I'm like, yo, this. People ain't been intended to get busy in this shit for 30 years. Why are you charging me?
It's part of the game, man. But again, like I
As
said,
if I'm still
hold
supposed to
on to
get
your
busy.
shit regardless. If you hold on to, it's like damn, everything's like stocks now. As long as you hold on to it, you never gonna lose value.
I've always seen product as stocks.
I mean,
it's
pretty much gotten to
Yeah.
that point now
My
where
parents did when I was a kid. They used to look like I was crazy.
yeah. That's how I had to like explain.
yeah, when
being
you're
a
talking to
sneakerhead
parents,
to
it's
my
different. Like
parents.
my mom, I told my mom same shit. It's like when she always be like, I'm not spending money on this and that. I'm like, well, you gotta understand, whatever I spend money on, I literally could resell it. Like everything that I don't even have a lot of clothes like that, but the clothes I do have is stuff that holds value. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like if you spend $30-$40 on something, 9 times out of 10 that shit ain't worth nothing but $30-$40, and you ain't going. You know what I'm saying? It's not. I'm not saying you got to spend a lot of money to get something, but the things that we like, they tend to have value. I'm not gonna go for something that's just cheap just because I need it. And it's like, if it don't even speak to me, then it not only did it did not make me feel good, but it's like, it's not me. It doesn't express or equate to who I am or my personality. So why not invest my money into something that I like? Might be a little more pricier, but hey, 10 years from now, that motherfucker might be 10 times the amount of what I paid for it.
Or not only that, 10 years from now, I'm still wearing it the same way I wore it when I just bought it.
And I feel like with people like us, because we're so indulged in the culture, we inevitably, like, we're immersed in this shit. So it's just, we can't help it. You know what I mean? It's like, we like too much shit that's cool, that has too much value. You know what I mean? Like, you play video games, you like shoes, you collect toys.
Never really got into toys, but nah, video games.
But
and
the
shoes.
point is like, the things that you like, though, they don't technically ever lose value if you have an interest in it. You know what I'm saying?
Or that value will come back around. Yeah, for sure.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, but if you're genuinely interested in it, it'll always have some type of value to you personally. So you won't ever really feel like you wasted.
But I feel like what we put ourselves in a space where materialism has a way of working to our advantage, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely,
we live in a space where materialism actually is kind of our world.
Yeah,
you know, like we're materialistic people in a I don't want to say, I guess, positive way in a sense.
Yeah.
I don't like to use the word materialistic, but
we're consumers. We're
consumers.
We're consumers in that way. But the reason why I think it's not in a disrespectful manner in the way I put it is because we preserve a lot of the shit that we enjoy. We consume. We're not just consumers.
Right. And I grapple with that a lot, actually, in the era that we live in, because I consume a lot. Like,
even in the space we had to work in, that you currently work in, I used to work in, I'm like, man, like...
We put a lot of product out into the world, and when you talk about sustainability, like, that's just not the best for the earth. But someone like myself, how I justify consuming so much product is I know that if I bought it, it has that emotional durability to me, and I'm going to keep it for a long time. Like, you don't have to worry about the shoes I spent $200 on ending up in a landfill, because I'm going to have them forever.
Or you're rocking them till they can't.
If I'm done with them, I'll give them to somebody who can repurpose them.
Right. Or I'll we'll restore them ourselves and keep wearing them. Or find a new purpose for them, or put them on a shelf because they represented a moment in time for us or whatever. Like, I know that when I consume, for the most part, like, I'm not perfect by any means.
Right.
But that is gonna stick with me for a little bit, and that's what, like, allows me to continue consuming, knowing that my footprint is as big as it is. It ain't going nowhere. I'm gonna pass it to my kids, my family.
I'm just starting to embrace that the older I get though, because like I've never really been a materialistic person, but I've had to learn to realize the things that we do create material, if that makes sense. Like we like I want to make clothes, I want to make toys, I want to do all these things. They're physical products.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so it's weird because you naturally are technically into those things, no matter how you want to look at it. It's materialism. You know what I'm saying? But at least in the way we do it in a way where it's like we're still contributing to society in a way, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because like there's a lot of people that just consume. They're not doing shit to the world to contribute to society, to the world. I mean, even just us having conversations like this on this shit is a contribution, because it opens conversation. It opens up, you know, it gets people thinking about different perspectives, different things that you wouldn't expect. Like the average person goes to work every day. They're not fucking thinking about a logo. They're not thinking about packaging. But as a consumer, you are consumed by those things every day, and someone has to create those things.
It's like the average individual is just very unaware of what goes on around them in general on a daily basis. So
True.
I don't know.
That is true.
That's my rebuttal to that. But
Nah, I get you. I get you.
a lot of people be walking around so unaware, and they'll be like, "Yo, that shit just happened in front of you and playing his day. You didn't even see it."
I think that's also because we all have created something and have been involved in a part of the process of like product creation for whatever it may be. We have a greater appreciation of it. And to your point about things going over people's head, I can allow myself to be that much more of a consumer because I have an appreciation for what it took to get this here, and for me to experience it the way that I'm experiencing it right now in this store or wherever I'm experiencing.
That's probably the reason I used to get so frustrated with some people I used to work with, because it's like, yo, like, y'all would have never consumed this anyway. Like, you don't even really truly understand who this is even meant for. You were never a part of this subset of consumers that we're speaking to. Why are you blocking what we have going on with the people who are working in this space, who actually are an accurate representation of the communities we're serving and creating for? Why are you blocking our messages? And like
you said, no equity.
it gets deep after, but you know.
Yeah. Yeah, but no, I feel what you're saying.
Yeah, man. I mean, shit. I wanted to dive into one more thing, but I don't know how y'all feel
Why
about
are you
it.
blocking, and why are you taking up unnecessary space? Really, it's kind of like
The case in point.
yeah.
Respectfully.
You're
And by
right.
taking up space unnecessarily, you're like indirectly blocking. Like,
True.
Can you let us do us, please?
True.
basically.
Respectfully. So before we wrap this up, I had a small little thing I wanted to discuss. I wanted it to be like a real conversation, but I feel like it will turn into a whole nother tangent. But we spoke on it briefly, and I just wanted to know your take on it because you had kind of said something about it earlier. But how do you feel about the difference between influence and inspiration? Like, do you think that there's a difference?
I do.
Oh yeah, speaking to the mic.
Oh, my fault. I'm tripping again.
You good.
I do. You know, when we was talking about the topics before the pod, like I intentionally didn't look it up. You know, the Webster definition of influence versus inspiration,
I should pull that up
because I didn't want it to, no pun intended, influence my answer that I'm about to give here. But like, I think that when you think about those two words, you have to recontextualize them with, you know, in modern day, with whatever you're doing or whatever you're living at the moment. We live in the age of social media where influencing is a verb that is very much of the now. When I think of influence, I think of an action attached to it.
Yep.
But
Yep. That's what I was
an
exactly.
action, I'm gonna take it one step further, that has a monetary value assigned to it. So if you influence me, the action might be like I went and bought or purchased a blue sweater because I saw you wear a blue sweater. If if I saw you wear a blue sweater and then I went to my closet and got a blue crew neck or the closest thing that I had, like I was inspired by you. I feel like with today's context, there has to be a dollar sign attached to influence. But I know that, you know, when we look up the definition, it's probably not the case. That's just how I see it in the context of, like, you know, modern living.
You definitely onto something for
fair.
sure, because like I definitely kind of look at it in a similar way. When you said action, that's exactly how I looked at it. And what made me even like how this whole conversation came up was random, because I was talking to a coworker. Shout out to my coworker. She actually just randomly was talking about this shit, and I had to literally. It's like she asked me, and I'm like, well, I had to really put myself in a certain type of position to understand that. You know what I'm saying? Because it's easy to respond to that, but it's like you got to really think for a second. So I'm like, best way I thought about it, I was like, well, I'm a music producer, right? So like, I can hear a producer. I'm gonna just name somebody like I'm gonna just name somebody random like Timbaland, right? I can hear Timbaland's beat, and that shit may inspire me to. I may feel like making a beat now. Like, damn, I just heard that shit. Like, I feel like making a beat now. That doesn't mean my beat's going to sound anything like Timbaland's. Influence will be
Your beat sounding like
now I gotta
beat.
make something that sounds like him. So he's influencing me to make something. But like I can be inspired to just make a beat. Like he made me. Now I feel like just doing something different right now. He made something kind of experimental. All right, like I feel like just making something now. I'm gonna do something too.
Point.
You know what I'm saying? So like that's a way of kind of separating the two. And again, it is an action, because I feel like influence, like it's more to an action to it. You know what I'm saying? Inspiration is more of a thought. Influence is like now an action, because now you're going to do something based off what you, I guess, saw in this sense.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but when you bring up to like relevant times with the money, I never looked at it like that.
I mean, I think we're saying the same thing.
You are, but it's just a different.
It's a different, like, slightly different take on it, and maybe I shouldn't have used money as the differentiator.
I mean, I feel like in today's, you know.
I mean, if you definitely
Today's times,
influence
I feel
that,
like it
money
makes
can.
sense.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense.
But I mean, like, even in our, relative examples, like, you know, I talked about seeing you wear a blue sweater, so I put on a blue something. Or seeing you wear a blue something, so then I go buy that blue something. That's the same. That's like inherently the exact same sentiment as your example with Timbaland. Like you hearing a Timbaland beat and then being inspired to make something, versus hearing a Timbaland beat and then being inspired to, influenced to do exactly what Timbaland just did, or something in the scope of what Timbaland just did. That's the same. Like, there's not necessarily a
monetary value attached to that.
but it's the same sentiment.
Last question.
You see what I'm trying to
Well,
say?
I mean, the definition for influence is the capacity to have an effect on the character, development, or behavior of someone or something, or the effect itself.
Okay.
Well, never mind. I guess I was about
that's
to ask something. I was about to answer my question.
That's the noun for influence. The verb for influence is, just having influence on something.
Okay.
The definition of inspiration is the process of being mentally stimulated to do or feel something,
So, yeah,
especially to
thought
do
process.
something creative.
So it's more feel
It's more of a thought
More of a
process.
feeling
than an action.
than an action.
Okay. So we both
The drawing in of breath, inhalation. Well, I mean, that's all right. That's
It's not like
different definition.
respiration.
Yeah, that sounds like what? But that's yeah. Well, those are the definitions. I mean, so I
Okay.
guess we were on the right track for the terms of
Yeah.
the definitions we personally have for it.
For sure.
We felt about the words.
Because I feel like that's why they don't call influencers inspirers. Like,
No, they're influencing.
right. You know what I'm saying?
They influencing
They
motherfuckers.
get you to take action.
Right.
Exactly. Nah, 100%.
You know,
Just a little, little tangent I thought about, man.
that's a good one to end on. That's a good one.
It is, man.
I had to give that some thought. And I'm glad I didn't look it up beforehand, because I really just wanted to go with what I felt. Also, no pun intended, now that we know that inspiration is more about feelings than, But,
Oh, we don't actually. My last thing I was going to say until he started reading the definition was, are we influenced by iPhones? And I feel like we can say yeah.
what do you mean by influenced?
Well, we said influence and inspiration. We all three of us have iPhones. What's our legitimate reasons for having iPhones?
Oh, mine is just because I got an Apple product, so like it's
Same.
easier for me to.
Yeah,
easier to integrate
but you don't think there's an influence behind all that
platform.
to an extent? You don't think there's no form of small scale influence of the reason why we have an iPhone?
Probably. Like, I'm sure that
Yeah, I
it
just
being
like
as popular
streamlining
as
shit.
it is, yeah, I'm in it for the product benefits, but there is definitely some
No, me too.
inspiration.
But at the same time, I still feel like we're subconsciously influenced, even if we want to say we're not.
Probably.
Yeah.
I mean, that means Apple's doing their job. I worked for Apple for 2 years, so like they had me before I worked for them. They're gonna have me for the rest of my life after. Like,
I mean, honestly, I've never really experienced too many issues with their products. Like, I still have a 2011 unibody MacBook over here that still works like a charm. Like,
that's what I'm saying. Honestly, the build quality of their stuff is just.
Man, I ain't gonna lie. I
Better.
dropped my shit on the floor and it still worked.
That's what I'm saying.
that's
Like,
what we talking about.
when we were growing up, you couldn't get an aluminum body laptop unless you bought an Apple.
That is true.
Like,
And that
They were
model
all
do
plastic.
still fucking work. That shit do still work. You be using that bitch.
yeah,
that's the matter of fact. That's
That's
one of
the
the last joints
2011.
before they took the
That
Apple
bitch heavy
off.
too.
Yep.
I got a 2019.
I would never get rid of that one for that reason alone.
Because
Like,
if you need to run a DVD, you gotta,
got a DVD player.
That shit
and it has
heavy,
At
too.
the
HDMI.
very
It doesn't have
least, that
HDMI.
will always be a DVD player.
It doesn't have an HDMI port on it, but it does have the HDMI like little lightning
Yeah.
adapter thing. So
Yeah.
we still good.
Yeah.
Well, man, I think it's about that time to wrap up and hit with the jam session.
Yeah, I guess we're gonna hop into this jam sesh for y'all real quick.
Shit was dope. Appreciate you pulling up though,
Hey,
man.
man, thank y'all for having me,
We-
man. I appreciate
and
the
this is part
conversation.
one
That's what I'm saying. I'll
because
be back.
Yeah,
We're gonna
be
go ahead
back.
and actually try to plan that game one, figure that
I'll
shit
be
out.
back. I'll be back. I wanted
Yeah,
to.
I'll see what adapters I can get for us to like maybe try because I know I'm gonna need a coax to HDMI and then a RCA to HDMI.
True. It's a lot that goes into.
Vintage games and
And
stuff.
yeah,
it's
and
so.
trying
I
to-
still want to
yeah.
do.
Plus,
it.
we're trying to broadcast it.
Right.
I still want
It's
to
a
do. I
lot.
still want to do this like test and learn scenario where like we just put a bunch of kids who never grew up with like consoles that had coax cables and shit like that, like consoles with cartridges.
That'd be a
consoles
cool little
and just give them an
segment.
old ass TV. All this shit functions perfectly fine, right? Just have all the cables and stuff not plugged in. Tell them just
That's a
push
cool
Speaking
segment.
of,
shit out.
I got a tube TV in the back of my car right now.
Damn.
To go back to our point, just so I can put a little bow on this. But I bought it for that reason. Like it's a 12-inch tube TV that I found in Goodwill last week, and I was like, why is
How
there
much
a
was
tube?
it?
$24. I was like, why is there a tube TV in Goodwill in 2023? And then I looked at it again and was like, nah, I need this.
And I guarantee you, it's worth more than that 20.
Oh, it's worth about $100.
Yeah, they're not cheap. Like those TVs, still you can sell them.
Yeah,
That's
they
a little good personal size TV for gaming.
That's exactly why I bought it. I wanted something to consume. Like when we was growing up, I didn't have a 50-inch flat screen in my room.
What's
like,
that little TV you used to play Sega at the crib?
It was like a little
it's-
12-inch
you,
tube
man.
TV that
Oh, you
people
talking about me?
had.
Yeah, that little small flat screen we used to just play. Remember that little small flat screen we just hook up?
Yeah,
Where's that at?
Damn, I don't even know.
That shit was
I
clutch.
had a little flat screen TV
was
that's that
small
little
as
coax
fuck.
joint, but like we used
I
to
got one. It's like it was a flat screen, but it had the coax on it. I got one. I'm gonna bring it to you, bro. It's sitting in
Yes,
storage.
bro.
I got you.
We used to play the Sega Genesis on that joint,
Yep.
and because I used to have it in my bedroom at my parents' crib, we used to connect the Sega Genesis to that joint and just be up there like
Yep.
playing on that joint.
Yep.
Yeah, man,
I know exactly what you're talking about.
that's such an era. Sleepovers and stuff. Everybody huddled around the TV. Only certain homies I had that had like huge, like I mean, these were like families that had like hella kids and shit that had a big ass fucking TV.
That rear
Oh, we had
projection
that
joint.
shit.
That
That shit lasted forever, and it finally went out on us like not too long ago.
My aunt, hers just bit the dust like last year.
big
2
box.
years
It was like
ago.
a
That
big Sony.
yes,
It was like a
bro.
big giant Sony TV.
Shout out Aunt Pam, man. She
Or
just got rid
JVC.
of.
It was like a Sony or JVC. I
Yeah.
can't remember which one it was.
We had a
but it was-
Mitsubishi.
Hey, back in the day though, if you walked in somebody's crib and they had one of them, like they got it.
They
They
had, one,
had it.
they had one of them and they had a console. They had a console.
And they had a
They had a
console
bunch of
on it?
consoles.
They got it.
It's crazy
Like,
though, because it's like
they had
it's
it.
crazy how that was a thing. Those TVs was really that was the luxury.
That was luxury.
My
before,
grandma
like,
had one. We
that
had
was
one.
luxury.
Yeah.
The big screen test, the big ass fucking box,
Because
dog.
technically, it's a
fucking wild,
projector in
dude.
the back of that. Like that's not a tube TV.
Nah,
So-
them joints were heavy as hell.
If
were
I'm
heavy.
about to sound real nerdy, but when we get into like video,
What's the standard name for those TVs? What were they called?
rear projection TV.
That's what they're called?
Yeah.
Right. So like you remember when games used to come with like a little light gun, like a Dreamcast or it would have a little light.
Yep.
Those only work on tube TVs because of the nature of how video is being transmitted.
Oh, so if you
put
had like if you were playing Duck Hunt or something like that, it wouldn't work on that.
it wouldn't work on a rear projection TV because it's not a tube. Like you need the way that light gun interacted with it had to be
light.
right.
Like
Right.
really like okay. All right,
I'm not gonna get into the weed of like how you know what I'm saying, but like
the gist of it.
We
It
back
needed
in
a
the
certain
day
type
we
of light
thought
and a certain
back in the day we thought all that technology was the same type of technology, but it wasn't. Like it was different, and which is why those were so expensive because they basically put a mini projector in a big ass
TV.
white and then like shot the thing.
This shit memories, dog.
That's what I'm saying.
This is why we getting old, bro.
Which one you looking
The
at?
Mitsubishi.
Yeah, bro.
Yes, bro.
Yes.
And talk about something like it got to the point now where you have to pay to get those removed from your crib, bro.
They're heavy
Yeah,
as
they're
fuck.
heavy as fuck.
I'm
Like, you
surprised. I'm trying to figure out how we got it upstairs.
Goodwill
Bro, we
won't
had
take it. Like you have to pay somebody to take that thing out your crib if it bite the dust, bro. Like them thing, like it's just crazy to see what we came from, bro.
Bro,
Like,
my grandma had one that had lasted forever,
that's a removal
dog.
fee, bro.
Like,
But yeah, shit, we're gonna hop into this jam sesh. The first track in this playlist is by the homie Jimmie Swain, and it's featuring Smiles, and it's called Mr. Etc.
It's Mr. Poetic, aka my taste can be very eclectic.
Okay, so
Did you ever listen to any of his music?
And when they see
I didn't even know he made music until probably like 6 months ago, and I've listened to one or two things. Just because it came up on the timeline, but not like a whole project yet.
That's fine. I remember when he was over here initially thinking about starting to rap, he was like, yo, bro, I'm gonna start rapping. And I was like, I mean, like I said, me just knowing him and him pretty much always being one of the that's like hell-bent on doing everything he says.
Yeah.
I was like, all right. I'm gonna just wait for you to start dropping shit. Let me know. I used to take him to Guitar Center to get his first like little wave of equipment and stuff like that. Yeah. Shout out to Jimmie. He's doing this thing in Atlanta right now
Hey, man,
on the
shout
personal
out
training tip.
Talk about an influencer.
Right. I saw that. I saw
that shit was
that.
wild how he blowing up like on that.
I saw that man from the jump do the thing to take off on TikTok. He was like, "Yeah, bro, I'm gonna start TikTok, become a TikTok influencer," and then he did it. And then after he said, "I want to rap," and then he started rapping. I was like, "All right, you know, I'm gonna just everything this man says he wants to do. I'm gonna just support
very
as the homie because
disciplined.
he's super disciplined and seems to really be about the shit that comes out of his mouth." So,
Big fact. This is a little Joey Smooth though. Is this a part of a project?
yeah, it's off of a project called Mr. Etc.
Necessary for your arrival. Give 911 a dial. Blood pressure is high. Rejection is not high. Self-reflection is vile. Then to your relief, you see you are greeted with a smile.
Hey, let's get it. I'm about the motherfucking business. Jump out the motherfucking biggest.
Yeah, so he moved to Atlanta. Said fuck the corporate space. He's been doing his own thing. So shout out to you in Atlanta, Jimmie. I told him I was gonna play a song and another song by him on a Jam Sesh show.
Hey man, this is a good one. Yeah. You got a little flow on this.
Y'all poppin' shit just for show. I pop a trip just to vibe with this bitch at the show. Dive in the pit and I'm moshing this bitch like a monster. No time for just kicking some shit in my conscience. Sometimes I just wanna forget that I'm conscious. Blinded from once from bullshit and the nonsense.
Beat smooth too.
Sometimes I just wanna forget that I'm conscious.
Yeah, I don't know who made the beat. All right, so the next track in the Jam Sesh, also by some more homies out here. It's by JxJury Mal London. Mal, we still need you to come through and sit on this couch.
Big
So
fact.
when you
Shout
got
out
some
Mom.
time to do that, we'll line that up.
Shouts out to the homies.
But yeah, this one's by JxJury Mal London, and it's off of the
classic.
Glam album, and it's called PTO. We have played a track off of this album on the podcast once before. What was it, Bimmer? Yeah, Bimmer. Another bop off of this album. It's a really, really good summer album, but honestly, just a really good album in general. So check it out if you get the chance. I'll put the album artwork on the screen so y'all can easily find it. So y'all at least know what to look for.
Off to the next destination, through the night. Only way we gonna make it, if you don't mind. Had to lean to keep it spacious, through the night.
Yeah, they had a whole listening party for this project. And what month was it? And you made the merch for it actually.
Helped, yeah.
Yeah, you helped make the merch for it.
I did. I definitely got. You know, he came through with some artwork. We got some hats out there, some patches out there for sure. It was a great album release. I love how he rolled this out. And I definitely did that thing.
Yeah, they had a whole
Party.
well, actually, nah. I was gonna say they had a launch party, but they also had. Well, John had a jury at a festival where they performed
Also fire.
this album. And I feel like I mentioned this before, but I DJ for John whenever he's performing JxJury. So he was on the podcast actually, episode 17. So check that episode out if you get a chance. He's a dope individual. We gotta have him back on here.
Facts.
That whole family cool, man.
Facts.
Both mom and dad cool. JxJury cool. Peur cool. Like,
Had to lean to keep it spacious, through the night. It became a celebration.
but yeah, if you haven't tapped into the Jam Sesh playlist, it's available on Spotify and Apple Music. So it's in both places. Depending on which one you're loyal to, or which streaming service you're loyal to, you know, we got you covered in both spaces. I mean, it's honestly depending on whether or not the artist has their songs uploaded on both platforms, but usually they do. There's been a handful of times where they didn't, but, you know, we got you covered for the most part. If you're watching this on YouTube, we always, you know, link in the description to the songs individually as well to the playlist, so feel free to click through the links in the description. I don't remember this song being this long. I'm rocking with this new light though.
Right? Look good on us too. Got us looking right.
Very even lighting.
Got us glowing like kings.
I don't gotta do as much to set up too. So like that's helpful.
You know, look at this shit.
All right. Wait, what y'all got going on over there?
Oh, he wild.
That was some parkour shit.
Oh, he just did a front flip over a building.
Yeah, I'm good on that.
And one fuck up, he's dead.
The next song on this playlist is called Everyday Chillin'. It's by Chip the Ripper. It's a throwback. It's off of Gift Wraps. So this is like from like, what year is this? 2010?
You know, I
Or
told you
2011.
I don't do times no more. I done got too old for it. I can't ever go back on times. It's just hard to tell like when something is like what year. I used to be good at it, man.
It helped me if I remember where I was or what part of my life I was in, then I can kind of break it down to a period and kind of hone in on a year back then.
Let me see if I can find the year this tape came out.
We just started out banging on the table.
2011.
Now I'm getting calls from these labels.
I was close. I said 2010, 2011.
At school, no diploma, past proficiency test.
I'm pretty good at dates with music and shit. If I don't have the exact date, I for sure know when I first encountered the song.
Where he from? Cleveland?
Yep.
Okay.
Did you go to the Kid Cudi show? He was at the Kid Cudi show. He performed with Cudi. He brought him out for like one track.
In Portland?
Yeah, but it wasn't for any of the tracks that I feel like he should have really brought him out for. Am I wrong? Am I wrong in saying that?
No, you was 100%.
I honestly don't remember what track he brought him out on, but it wasn't one of the tracks that like
Yeah.
was like one of those ones.
One of them ones.
Yeah.
Reach for the sky, but first hit the ceiling. Driving, windows up, chasing that feeling. Maintain and remain cool for a living. Yeah. We just started out banging on them tables.
Yeah, this is a whole era of like
panties hit them ankles. Chillin'
music for us and shit. It's high school.
Niggas always trying shit.
In the high
classic.
school. Senior year of high school.
For certain, the girls love the voice. These raps
It sounds, and y'all, you know, y'all are more musically versed than I am. I don't even have the language to speak about music correctly. But it sounds so like, I don't want to say elementary, and that, because that's kind of like, that's got like a negative connotation to it. But it just sounds so like simply layered. And
Well, I mean, he said we just started out banging on them tables.
And
That's what you
it
did in
feel like.
elementary, was banging on them tables.
That's what it feels like. Like it just feels like there wasn't a lot to layer here before you had the final cut. But I appreciate this era of music because it, like what you putting out has to be that much more substantial.
Did you listen to Cool Kids growing up? No?
Damn,
No,
dog.
but I was gonna say, yeah, it sounds like very much like, it sounds like something Chuck English or
English.
Mikey Rocks would do.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it is Chuck English beat, but I'm just saying, it sounds like something like Mikey Rocks or Chuck English would have got on back in like, honestly, I would say back in like 2000, from like 2006 to like 2011, but honestly, I could see them still getting on some shit like this and still bodying it. But I don't know. I could be wrong. Because artists evolve and shit, you know. Yeah, this whole project is fire though. You should check it out.
I'm gonna download it.
All right. The next track, I have no idea who this artist is. It's 454, but the name of the song is called Wonder.
It's a sample you'll recognize.
And I got JR over here brought this to the table, so.
It's a project I've been running a little bit recently, just putting it on in the background. I like it.
Okay.
Atlanta influence, you'll see.
All right.
You know, we love them Atlanta. Pause.
Is this just a sample? Oh, I hear the Kevin, the Wayne Wonder sample.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I almost said Kevin Little, but that was trying to turn me on. Alright, it's the album artwork. What is this driving the car? Is this a gator?
Couldn't tell you.
All right, while we on listen to music, I gotta ask you though, man. How you feel? You ready for the new GTA?
Man, yes. I'm a
I don't want to talk to you, bro. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to him. Continue.
Alright, look.
I don't want to talk about the song,
you already know how I feel
but
about it.
dang, I guess I got two hot takes for this episode. I've never owned a Grand Theft Auto.
Oh shit,
Ever.
man. Damn, dog.
I love those games. I play them all the time. Shout out Lamar, and if you listening.
Well, there ain't no point in me asking how you feel. You ain't never really had the game, so.
That's not true. Like, well, it's not true that I've never physically owned them. I played the hell out of Grand Theft Auto San Andreas with my cousin at his crib. I never owned a copy of any of them. I never, like, by the time I was buying my own games, GTA 4 was out. I never bought GTA 4. GTA 4 is playing 3 consoles. So, like, my first time actually owning a disc and, like, playing it and it being mine is going to be GTA 6. I'm looking forward to it.
That's
I played all the
interesting.
games for a number of hours, just never on my own console by myself.
Yeah, I'm excited, dog.
This song kind of hard.
Check out the rest of the tape.
Is it
Yeah.
is it fast forward like that
See,
the whole
like,
time? Is it?
Nah.
Is it this one
Like,
song?
my thing is, if I can hit one of these,
Yeah, you hit the little vibe.
if I can hit this to the song for 2 minutes straight, that's why I like these so much. Because I can hit this little...
hit the little bop.
That beat do go though.
It's a consistent bop.
It's just a
consistent
bop. That's it. Just a bop. Ain't nothing more to
feel
it.
that.
Just a bop.
Yeah, I don't need nothing crazy.
That's it.
All right, the next song is Is Luh Headtap, and it's by Don D. I ain't heard this in forever, but
Yeah, it's not forever. It was like
it
2
feels
months
like
ago.
it feels
not
like
even.
forever since I heard it though, because we was playing this like back to back to back when you first heard it.
True.
I don't even know where they're from. Where are they from?
Bro, I don't know nothing about this track. It just go hard and it's badly recorded. This shit go though.
but it's so
Yeah, I don't know who the fuck this shit. My cousin was playing this shit.
Headtap?
And I was just like, this shit going.
Nah, hey man, if y'all on YouTube, comment down if y'all know who that Luh Headtap is. I gotta figure out something about this.
Facts.
This came on now.
Bro, because I was like, who the fuck is this? At first I couldn't take it serious and I was like, nah, this shit kind of hard though. Trolling.
I know he made this song with $30 and a mattress in a corner like
Right.
this, but it's knocking.
I'm like, yo, I want to hear this redone now.
You said you want to hear it redone?
Yeah.
Nah, we need it just like this every
I feel
time.
you though.
That low quality shit. I want to hear the smoke detector going off in the background.
Right. No, I made this shit look easy, but I sell it hard.
Even the album artwork is low budget as hell.
That's what I'm saying.
Hey, let me show this again.
I don't know them guys.
Look at that. That was made in probably Microsoft Paint.
Yeah.
I done gave him some streams.
Generic fonts.
I done ran the streams up on this bitch. I gave him his plays.
I'm Luh Headtap. I'm with Luh Headtap. He Luh Headtap. Check bro out on side of me. He a Headtap.
That beat go.
Beat goes
It
stupid.
does.
See, you get it. You know what I'm saying? I feel like this song go over some motherfuckers' heads. You gotta use it. If
That's
you get
perfect.
it.
That's right up my alley.
You know what I'm saying?
That's perfect. That's right up my
Luh
alley.
Headtap.
Luh Headtap.
Alright. The last song in the Jam Sesh is called Peur de Feliz.
Well, you said that shit right. I thought you was gonna butcher that shit.
Nah, fam. We cultured over on this side. And it's by, shit, I might butcher this. Limpetrice?
I'm pretty sure it's French.
Yeah, it's something French. We'll show you on that when we pull the artwork up. What is this from? Well, the artwork not really gonna help. It's like a little video of people moving and shit. Alright. This is, I guess, the artwork for y'all. A woman dancing with like a... You know what this is. See, if we had Tony Bob over here.
Jeffrey know French too.
Tony know French?
Yeah, he know French. Tony is he's people from the Congo.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, Jeffrey Z is from the Ivory Coast, I think. So
Okay.
he knows French too. My other homie.
This beat groovy as hell.
It is. Where you find this? Don't lie neither.
I think either Dan put me onto this or one of the co-workers from the shop. Like it was either Dan or
Okay.
or fucking it might have been Ali. Shout out to Ali. Ali I think put me on this track. One of them put me on the
which
track.
Ali?
No, Ali. You don't know this dude.
Oh, I was like,
Not
Ali?
Ali.
I was like, nah.
Yeah, nah. There's one somebody at
Let
work.
me find out Ali listening to this. He would be the type though.
No, that's hard.
It is.
Oh, and another thing too, since we're also talking some, we was cause Aaron went at the Thanksgiving dinner. We was joking with JC cause I thought JC was from Wilmington, bro.
Wait, Wilmington, what? North Carolina?
Yes, I dead ass the whole time thought he was from Wilmington, and I was like, yeah, you look like a Wilmington, and we was just thought that shit was funny.
He could though, slick. From the coast.
It was funny as hell cause
Like two like 252.
I was like, bro, I could have sworn you was from
people.
Wilmington, bro. This shit was funny. The whole time I thought he was. He said, no, I'm from Portland. I'm like, what?
Yeah,
I thought you was one of
When I
us.
found out he was born in Portland, I was like, what?
That's what I was like. I thought you was one of us, bro.
But yeah, anyway, it's the part of the podcast where we tell y'all to like, comment, subscribe, and share with your friends.
Speaking of that, I want to thank everybody for low-key tuning in and following us all the way up until this point. We at 71 subscribers right now. We trying to get to 100 before the 50th episode. Help us get to 100 subscribers before the 50th episode, please.
Got you.
Yeah.
Facts.
That's not that hard. We close. 71 right now.
There.
And we ain't even hit 40 yet. So let's go.
And we giving y'all a bunch of shit to engage with too. Like
Facts.
we got the playlist for y'all.
Who put you on new music?
Element to this podcast. If you don't
Who gave you the soundtracks to life?
shit.
We did.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying?
Us, right here on this couch. Right here from this couch.
Yes, indeed.
But yeah, once again, we appreciate you coming through, man.
Hey, man. Thank y'all for having me.
Feel free to come
It's
back
been a pleasure.
anytime.
Oh, I'll be back.
Oh, definitely. We're gonna be hitting the sticks.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring something with
This
me.
is gonna be. I'm excited. We're gonna get something planned.
Yeah.
We're trying to definitely bring some more things to the table with the pod and not just, conversations. We got some shit up our sleeve, man.
More to come.
More to come for sure. We just getting started.
Yeah.
Appreciate y'all, world.
Facts.
Tuning
See y'all-
in.
See y'all later. I'm gonna try and keep continuing to push out an episode per week. So we'll see y'all next week.
I'm about to go take my medicine.
That's a wrap.